Chapter 215. After the cooperation plan for the variety show was decided, Chu Xiang accompanied Fang Zhenxuan to watch the highest-rated episodes of classic variety shows. She analyzed why this variety show was popular, why some of the MCs attracted fans, and why some of them didn't have much of a presence, why some people had more screen time, and why some people were likable while others were annoying. Filming a variety show isn't just about having a good person, a good personality, and a good character setting. Being liked by others is the foundation, but you have to know how to show a certain side of yourself to the audience. Just like when you're filming, you're obviously yourself. Some of the scenes are good, while others are bad. You have to put in a lot of effort. You have to treat it as a topic to study. The character setting is just icing on the cake. We don't set up a fake character setting. At most, we'll emphasize what you're good at. Don't rely on the character setting. Otherwise, you'll fail sooner or later. Chu Xiang sat cross-legged on the sofa, hugging a pillow and explaining to Fang Zhenxuan in detail. Fang Zhenxuan held his laptop and wrote down all her key points. He also wrote a lot of his own insights and analysis when he watched the variety show. He pointed at the TV screen. This person didn't have a strong presence in the first 2 episodes, and he didn't stand out when he was paired with others. After he partnered with the captain in this episode, the two of them echoed each other and cooperated very well. He suddenly became very eye-catching. Also, I find his words very interesting. He often says funny things that people can remember. Chu Xiang nodded. Don't be afraid of words when filming. If you're not good, you'll naturally be cut out later. So, you just have to worry about it. As long as you don't offend everyone and don't have an awkward silence, it's fine. Also, when others laugh, don't be photographed in a daze. It's very impolite. No, have you forgotten what my major is? It's impossible for me to be in a daze on any occasion. Fang Zhenxuan laughed and thought carefully. The other 5 seniors in the production team have been filming variety shows together for 3 years. They have a good relationship. It might not be easy for me to integrate as I've just joined. Should I try to interact with them as much as possible? If I interact with them, I might get to know them faster. After all, I don't hit a smiling face. If I take the initiative, the effect of our cooperation should be better, right? That's right. Everyone is out for work. Although they've been filming together for 3 years, friends are always together. You have such a good personality, and it can be seen from the number of people in your legal army that you are very likable. Don't worry, as long as you are generous and don't be shy, they will definitely accept you. When Chu Xiang saw that this episode of the variety show was over, she picked up the remote control and chose another episode from abroad. She wanted Fang Zhenxuan to see how famous foreign variety show producers did variety shows. Fang Zhenxuan turned to look at her with a smile on his face. Hey manager sister, do you think I'm very likable? Truth? Chu Xiang answered without hesitation. Of course. After all, you're so pretty. Fang Zhenxuan touched his face. So you decided to sign me because... I didn't expect that I conquered you with my face. I always thought it was because of my character. There are many people with good character. There are very few who are good looking. I just like to look at faces. Chu Xiang turned to look at him. Looking at her Prince Charming's face at such a close distance made her happy. Work hard, and you can conquer the world. This was the first time Fang Zhenxuan looked at Chu Xiang at such a close distance. Her eyes were very lively and charming, making people reluctant to look away. Okay, I'll listen to you. He heard himself say this and felt that his heart was beating faster than usual. The ringing of the phone interrupted their gaze. Chu Xiang reached for the phone on the coffee table, and Fang Zhenxuan turned to look at the program on the TV. However, the images on the TV flashed past his eyes meaninglessly, and he didn't pay attention to them at all. He just wanted to calm his racing heart. Chu Xiang saw that the call was from the original owner's best friend. She was a little surprised. Hello. Intan? You're back? The other party was a little anxious. I'm at your door. You're not at home? Where are you? I moved. Chu Xiang told her the address and smiled. I'm fine. Are you driving over? Slow down. I'm fine. Don't worry. Don't I know you? It would be strange if you were fine. I'm coming over now. I'll buy you something delicious. Wait for me. Intong hung up. Feng Zhenxuan got up and said, You have a friend coming over? Then I'll go back and watch. Oh, okay. Chu Xiang got up and walked him out. Don't watch too late. The recording will start in 2 days. It won't look good if your skin is not in good condition. Feng Zhenxuan couldn't help but laugh when he saw that she cared so much about her face. He walked out of the door and turned back to remind her, Don't drink. I know long-winded. You have to listen to me even if I'm long-winded. Feng Zhenxuan said softly. He pursed his lips and smiled. He waved his hand and entered the door opposite. Chu Xiang leaned against the door and laughed. She went in and cut a plate of fruit. Intong arrived shortly after. Her hands were filled to the brim with snacks. They were all delicious food. She was stunned when she saw Chu Xiang. She walked in and stared at Chu Xiang carefully. You don't look like you're heartbroken. Are you really fine? Chu Xiang took the things in her hands and opened them on the coffee table. Of course I'm fine. Why would I lie to you? Hey, why are you fine? Intong changed her shoes and sat beside Chu Xiang in disbelief. She looked at her sideways. Don't you love Chen Lifeng so much? It's been 8 years. How many times have I told you not to trust him? When have you ever listened to me? Why have you really let it go this time? Intong narrowed her eyes and looked at Chu Xiang. She leaned close to her and asked, Student Chu Xiang, look into my eyes and tell me that you're not Chen Lifeng's secret lover. Quick. Chu Xiang burst out laughing and fell on the sofa. Oh, do you think I'm a fool? Secret lover? He's lucky that I didn't beat him up. Who would be his lover? Intong touched her chin and nodded. It seems that you really don't have a secret lover? I don't understand. How did you change so much? It's like you're a different person. The doorbell rang. Chu Xiang went to open the door and saw Feng Zhenxuan holding an enamel pot in his hand. She asked in surprise, What's this? Feng Zhenxuan said, I just made soup. It's very light. It's healthier to drink a little before eating supper. Your stomach is not good. You need to take good care of it. Okay. Help me put it on the coffee table. Chu Xiang stepped aside. Seeing Intong lying on the back of the sofa and looking over, she introduced them. You know who this is, right? My current partner, Feng Zhenxuan. Zhenxuan, this is my good friend Intong. Hello. Hello. Feng Zhenxuan put down the pot, and the two shook hands. Feng Zhenxuan smiled at Chu Xiang. I have to continue watching the variety show. I won't disturb you. I'll go back first. Okay. Chu Xiang sent Feng Zhenxuan out. She turned around and saw Intong smile. She immediately smiled. It's not what you think. Intong lay on the back of the sofa and raised her eyebrows. What am I thinking? You're the one who's guilty, aren't you? Why aren't you sad that you were played by Chen Lifeng? It turns out that you've fallen in love with someone else. Really, this guy looks much better than Chen Lifeng. At least he's handsome. He's still so young and so considerate. Intong turned back and opened the lid of the soup pot. A pleasant smell instantly wafted out. She closed her eyes to feel it. He looks so considerate. He was afraid that supper would hurt your stomach, so he specially made soup for you. By the way, she looked at Chu Xiang in confusion. He just came over like this. He lives opposite? Chu Xiang nodded and took a bowl out of the kitchen. You can get it yourself. It's so convenient that we live opposite each other. Before you came, I was filming a variety show with him. If there's anything, we can deal with it immediately. We can also take care of each other. Well, not in terms of feelings, but in terms of the relationship between an artist and an agent. There's basically no possibility of him lying to you if he lives opposite you. You'll know what he's doing. Not bad. Intong thought about the problem from Chu Xiang's perspective and was very satisfied with the current situation. She scooped a bowl of soup for Chu Xiang and looked at Chu Xiang seriously. Are you really okay? If you want to cry, I'll lend you my shoulder at any time. Cry for that scumbag? Does he deserve it? Chu Xiang drank a mouthful of soup and urged Intong to drink as well. Zhenxuan's cooking is good. You should drink some too. You haven't eaten good food in that ditch for a long time, right? Isn't that so? If I didn't come to see you, I would have bought a bunch of delicious food. In Tong joked and obviously relaxed. You know where I went? There was no signal or internet at all in the ditch. I stayed there for half a year, and was used to not using my phone. I didn't even think of charging it. I just charged it when I got home. Who knew that when I came out of the shower, there were hundreds of missed calls and a lot of messages that directly crashed my phone. Only then did I know that something had happened to you. Chu Xiang, tell me honestly, was your alcohol poisoning an accident or a suicide? Chu Xiang turned to look at her. I never thought of committing suicide. I was in a bad mood and drank a few more glasses. Who knew that it would be so easy? But it's also a good thing. After dying once, you know what's the most precious? What is Chun Li Feng? If I used the strength of loving him on myself, how good would my life be now? In Tong clapped her hands. You finally figured it out. I hate you to death because of this. Oh, you're planning to treat yourself better now, so you're moving? She got up and walked around the house. She smiled and said, Sure. How much is the rent? I bought it, including the one across the street. Chu Xiang's words were so shocking that In Tong was stunned. Where did you get the money? I used to go to places like charity auctions to buy some jewelry. There was a pendant that turned out to be a treasure, so I sold it for this amount. Chu Xiang showed her a 9 with her hand. In Tong thought for a moment. This house cost at least 20 million, so it couldn't be 9 million, right? She widened her eyes in shock. 90 million. Chu Xiang smiled and nodded. How is it? I'm a rich woman now. If you're tired, come and look for me. I'll take care of you. In Tong laughed and rushed over to hug her. You're too lucky. That Chun Li Feng isn't completely useless. If he didn't insist on going to those events, you wouldn't have had the chance to pick him up. Just for this, I forgive him. Chu Xiang pushed her. Go away. You're forgiving him just like that? Aren't we sisters? I won't forgive him. I'll make him regret entering the entertainment industry sooner or later. He'll have to pay me back for taking advantage of me all these years. In Tong gave her a thumbs up and agreed. No matter what you want to do, I'll support you. She raised her bowl of soup and clinked it with Chu Xiang's bowl. Come, let's use soup as wine to celebrate you seeing through that scumbag and gaining a new life. Oh right, we'll also celebrate you finding a fresh meat. Ha ha ha, it's not what you think. Are you blind? I clearly see that you've become prettier. You must be in a good mood recently, right? Your face is so tender and radiant. Then shouldn't I be in a good mood after seeing such a handsome guy? How about me, your new partner? Is he good to you? Are you obedient? You're a few years older than him, right? What did he call you? In Tong and the original host were best friends who grew up together. Chu Xiang didn't want In Tong to find out that the original host was no longer around. From now on, she would be In Tong's best friend. In Tong liked to do charity work by herself. After graduating from university, she often traveled around the world. She would go to wherever it was difficult, so losing contact with her was a common thing. It must be understood that In Tong knew the original host very well. But if she didn't know, the original host was busy with work, and In Tong often lost contact with her. Both of them were growing and changing. Although their feelings didn't change, their personalities more or less changed. Chu Xiang only needed to cover up a little to fool In Tong. The two of them met again after a long time. They ate and chatted until the next morning before going to bed. The pile of food on the coffee table was cleaned up by them. When best friends were together, they naturally had to do things that only best friends could do. Chu Xiang and In Tong went shopping, eating, going to the spa together, soaking in the hot spring together, watching dramas together, and going to the cinema together. The two of them didn't stop for a moment, and had a good time. When a woman did these things, she would never feel tired. She would only feel that time passed too quickly. Extreme Mode was about to be recorded. It was Fang Zhenxuan's first variety show. Chu Xiang was worried, so of course she had to follow. In Tong went back to her own home. She hadn't come back for more than half a year, and she had a lot of things to deal with. She was just worried that Chu Xiang would try to be brave. So she came to Chu Xiang as soon as she got home. Now that she saw that Chu Xiang was in a very good state, she was completely relieved. The Extreme Mode program team and Chu Xiang discussed a cooperation plan. The first episode was to shoot outdoor game projects, climbing hills, and tug-of-war in the water. Every project was full of vitality. Chu Xiang put on makeup for Fang Zhenxuan early before the recording, and then took him to greet the director and the 5 MCs one by one and gave them a gift. Everyone also showed kindness and had a simple chat with Fang Zhenxuan. When the recording began, the program team directly divided them into 2 groups to compete. In this way, they needed both unity and competition. It was the easiest way for everyone to get along well, and it was also the easiest way to cover up Fang Zhenxuan's unfamiliarity. Fang Zhenxuan's sport cells were very good. When climbing the hill to grab the flag, he quickly became the main force of their team. When he was entangled by the other team, he was neither in a hurry to break free, nor did he show weakness and admit defeat. Instead, he played a trick and successfully threw the flag to his teammate. Then he hugged the person who was entangled with him and successfully reversed the situation. He had a sunny and handsome smile on his face, which gave people a very good impression. He was also very good at playing games. Such a reversal ensured that he had a brilliant scene in this episode. The people in the program team and the other 5 MCs were observing him, a newcomer. They were also looking for how to cooperate with him and what position he should be in. Unexpectedly, he was very open and not restrained at all. The 5 MCs also let go of him and played all kinds of tricks. They didn't have the consciousness of bullying a newcomer at all. However, Fang Zhenxuan was not easy to deal with. He didn't let them take advantage of him at all. In the end, he relied on a pair of long legs to rush to the finish line and win for his team. Later, the tug-of-war in the water was his highlight moment. The temptation of getting wet was sometimes more seductive when used on men. Fang Zhenxuan slowly walked to the designated place in the water with his legs wide open. His hair became a bewildering picture. Chu Xiang heard a girl screaming. She turned her head and found that it was a fan of someone else. During the recording of a variety show, if it wasn't for the confidentiality of the situation where outsiders were not allowed, there would usually be some fans of Yi Rao chasing after the scene. Fang Zhenxuan was a newcomer. He didn't have fans chasing after the scene. Maybe his fans didn't even know that he had started the recording. This time, they were all fans of the other 5 MCs. When the MCs were competing before, they had been cheering for them. Only when the program team asked them to be quiet did they not make a sound and just wave excitedly. Now that several MCs were in the water, they were even happier, but most of their screams were because of Fang Zhenxuan. Sure enough, beauty was justice. When they saw a good-looking face, they could climb over the wall at any time. It was okay to climb over it for a while. They were watching here because all of their camera equipment had been taken away. It would only be returned to them after the recording of the show. When Chu Xiang went to the bathroom, she heard 2 girls regretting that they couldn't take a wet photo of Fang Zhenxuan. She thought amusedly that in the future, could she let Fang Zhenxuan commit murder because of his beauty? They could obviously rely on their faces to make a living, but now they had to rely on their strength. However, after Fang Zhenxuan showed his extraordinary strength, the number of fans would definitely take a big leap, and it would be unstoppable. The shooting of the first episode of Extreme Mode went very smoothly. Although the amount of exercise was very large, it was only like this that it looked good and the audience would like it. Moreover, this program team was very conscientious. There were also medical staff accompanying them. Every sport paid great attention to the safety of Yi Rao. Except for a little bump during the competition, there was no chance for them to be bullied. As soon as the recording was over, Fang Zhenxuan proposed to treat a few MCs to a meal. However, the captain should be the one treating to welcome Fang Zhenxuan, so he dragged him to eat delicious food. This kind of opportunity to connect was very important. Chu Xiang didn't go with them. She went shopping. When Yitong heard that she was going to shoot in Hainan, she asked her to go to the duty-free shop to buy. She was going to buy now. The fans finally took back their mobile phones. They couldn't help but send text repos to their respective idols' posts at the first moment, which was to describe the situation they saw at the scene. The fans wouldn't describe it in detail. If some plots were revealed in advance, they would be cut out by the program team. In order to see a good show, everyone was still very careful in this regard. If they posted something that couldn't be posted, the big fans would immediately persuade them to delete it. So usually the repos posted by the fans were about who was so handsome today. He also had a meme: he was so cute, his skin was white, his legs were long, and so on. Most of the other fans who couldn't be at the scene had been waiting for them to post their repos. Surprisingly, in addition to posting about their idols, this group of fans almost all brought Fang Zhenxuan along. Ah, Fang Zhenxuan is so handsome, so handsome. I'll take responsibility and say, he's not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. He's 100 times more handsome in person than in the movie. Fang Zhenxuan has tempted me today. I can't hold it in. When you watch the show, you have to prepare tissues. Believe me, I'll really have a nosebleed. What kind of godlike appearance does Fang Zhenxuan have? His body proportion is perfect. That skin, that face, that figure, those long legs, those hands. ASL, I'm going to climb the wall. For Fang Zhenxuan, I can do both. Sisters, don't hit me. It's not that I'm not firm enough. It's just that Fang Zhenxuan is too attractive. I don't know how handsome Fang Zhenxuan is. I only know that he knows how to have fun. He's not reserved at all when he's with the seniors. He even knows how to joke. He's definitely a treasure boy. Believe me, you must watch the show when it starts. Chu Xiang felt the enthusiasm of the fans at the scene. When she was in the car, she opened Weibo and took a look. Sure enough, there were posts praising Fang Zhenxuan in the posts of several MCs. The fans who hadn't been there were a little unwilling to believe it, but so many people's repos were praising Fang Zhenxuan, so they had no choice but to believe it. Soon, these repos were transferred to Fang Zhenxuan's post. The legal corps were stunned. Why did the other MCs have fans to support them on the spot, but their Fang Zhenxuan didn't? Looking at the praises of so many repos, they knew how good Fang Zhenxuan's performance was. In the end, he performed so well, but the fans didn't give him the face he deserved. How could this be? The legal corps immediately held an emergency meeting in the major fan groups and agreed that they must go to the scene to support Fang Zhenxuan next time. This show was filmed and broadcast at the same time. Generally, the first episode would be broadcast after 3 or 4 episodes were edited. The 12 episodes of the season were filmed together during the same time period. Therefore, for nearly 20 minutes, Fang Zhenxuan would be with the other 5 MCs. During the break, Fang Zhenxuan would naturally chat with them about the South and North. Although he had just graduated, he was very mature inside. He had worked many jobs and could be considered to have a lot of knowledge. He could chat with them very well, and became familiar with everyone at the fastest speed. When filming the second episode, the program team recorded a segment of looking for Fang Zhenxuan in private in advance, and gave him a special identity. They let him be a mole and mix in with several MCs. In the brain-burning theme of this episode, he would deceive them, defeat them, and win the victory alone. This episode was set in ancient times. Fang Zhenxuan's clothes were moon-white embroidered with brocade patterns, and he was holding a folding fan. It was a bit like the costume in The Legend of Jing Fei. Chu Xiang had an idea when she saw it. She immediately discussed with the production team of The Legend of Jing Fei, and directly dressed Fang Zhenxuan as Zhou Yanjun, to reserve some popularity for later episodes. Dressing up was just a matter of time. Both sides were happy to cooperate with her, and they easily reached an agreement. This was also the reason why Chu Xiang made Rao feel more and more trustworthy. As an agent, she had begun to shine in the circle. The content of this episode was a bit like solving a mystery, and it also contained a little element of escape. There were links to find fragments of the map and put them together, and there were also checkpoints to unlock the door with Huarong Dao. There were also mechanisms that required 6 people to cooperate to pass, and so on. Fang Zhenxuan did not show any flaws from beginning to end, and no one doubted him. He was very good at analysis and finding clues. His words still had some weight in the 6 Rao team. He led them to find 2 map fragments and cracked the door lock of Huarong Dao. Everyone believed that he was one of them. When they knew that there was a mole among them, they suspected each other, but they never doubted Fang Zhenxuan. Fang Zhenxuan cleverly led them through the mechanisms that required cooperation. He avoided people along the way and naturally found 3 map fragments. After carefully looking at them, he directly destroyed them. The director frowned slightly when he saw his actions, but he did not stop him. He was afraid that they would not be able to go on if the map was not put together in the end, but it had already been destroyed. If it did not work, he would let the captain take the lead and find the route again. The program team could add another hidden map. However, to the director's surprise, Fang Zhenxuan really memorized the 3 map fragments. When the other MCs found the map fragments respectively, and there were only 3 pieces left in the end, Fang Zhenxuan finished reading and understood that it was a complete map. Fang Zhenxuan did not ask to carry those map fragments with him, just to further dispel their doubts. Then, when they were about to clear the level, Fang Zhenxuan led all 5 of them to a room according to the route of the secret room recorded on the complete map. Then he suddenly opened a secret door and ran out, locking them all inside. Fang Zhenxuan successfully ran outside according to the map in his memory, and rang the gong representing victory. At that time the 5 MCs were stunned. Zhenxuan is a mole? Zhenxuan is actually a mole? I feel like my IQ has been insulted. The director was also very surprised that Mr. Feng came to watch this scene in person. They finally understood why Chu Xiang was so confident that Fang Zhenxuan was good at the high IQ brain-burning theme. She also dared to guarantee that the brain-burning theme in the 2nd episode would make Fang Zhenxuan find the right position and attract fans. Who didn't like such a smart Fang Zhenxuan? And he was not only smart, but also knew how to make a show. He never forgot the sense of variety, and had a lot of interactions with other MCs. The director was reluctant to cut his scenes. Maybe Chu Xiang was right. Fang Zhenxuan could really bring a sense of freshness to their show, and add a lot of popularity. Both the director and Mr. Feng were excited. Their previous dissatisfaction with Chu Xiang's interception completely dissipated, leaving only anticipation for subsequent cooperation. After the 3rd episode of the show was recorded, the 1st episode of Extreme Mode was broadcasted. Many fans of Extreme Mode were waiting to watch it, and some of them did not watch it anymore. However, the ratings of the 1st episode maintained the level of previous years, and the data was very beautiful. Those repos that made everyone curious about Fang Zhenxuan finally let everyone see it. He was actually wet. The white t-shirt clung to his body, showing his good figure. And the repos that said he was interesting was actually true. After he was intercepted, he turned around and restrained the other party's people. Moreover, he attracted a lot of attention when he played games. His smile was very bright, he ran very fast, he jumped very high, and he was especially quick-witted. His adaptability was simply too amazing. In short, he was handsome, super cute, super funny, and super mesmerizing. Fang Zhenxuan's number of fans increased greatly again. Many people liked to watch him. However, not everyone liked R&B. There were still some fans who did not accept the interruption of the show that rejected Fang Zhenxuan. If there was no interruption, how could it be good? If there was an interruption, it would not be right. There were also people who said that Fang Zhenxuan had been handsome since his debut. Did he have nothing but a face? If he did not rely on his works to survive in the entertainment industry, he would rely on his face to become popular. Was he trying to be a flower vase? The flower vase theory gradually increased. It was easy for people to be led astray. Sometimes, when they heard that this method seemed to make sense, they would unconsciously stand on this side. It was true that Fang Zhenxuan did not have any works. After his debut, other than a Dejun commercial, there was nothing else. He filmed The Legend of Jing Fei, but didn't he belong to the White Moonlight in the female lead's memory? That was actually also a flower vase, right? It was actually quite rare for a male celebrity to be called a flower vase, and the word flower vase could not be considered an offensive language in the law. Even the legal corps could think of a good way to defeat the flower vase theory. In the first place, the law students had calmly analyzed Fang Zhenxuan's development in the entertainment industry before, and they all thought that Chu Xiang would be of great help to Fang Zhenxuan. Therefore, when they were anxious about the flower vase theory, they sent a lot of private messages to Chu Xiang for help. Chu Xiang opened Weibo and was directly disconnected. She logged in a few more times before she could get online. Then, when she saw the situation on the internet, she smiled and replied to a leading fan. What's wrong with a flower vase? At this stage, this is praising Zhenxuan, right? When Zhenchuan's advantages are shown one by one in the later stage, those people will realize that even if Zhenchuan is a flower vase, he is also a priceless treasure. Can a flower vase on the street be the same as a flower vase in the immortal palace? These words might not be easy for law students to understand, but Yen fans instantly got the point and immediately led people to refute the haters. What's wrong with a flower vase? Using a flower vase on my Xian is a compliment. If you have the ability, try being a flower vase. Is there anyone who is willing to look at you? Even if my Xian relies on his face to make a living, it is also the master who gives him food to eat. If you are jealous, go find the master to settle the score. What kind of ability is it to hide behind the screen and grumble? Even if Zhenchuan is a flower vase, he is also the most precious flower vase in the world, the kind that should be regarded as a treasure. I love to look at Zhenchuan's face. He is good-looking and handsome. I never watch variety shows, but with him, I will definitely watch this show. I don't watch variety show 1. I came specifically to see Fang Zhenchuan. As long as Zhenchuan stands there without moving, I can watch him all day, not to mention that he can move, laugh, and know bellflower. He is obviously a super interesting big boy, and being a flower vase is also a part-time job. Now all the Yen fans are looking over. The haters are pretending to be blind and don't admit that my Xian has a good variety sense. They are willing to admit that my Xian is good-looking. Why don't you hurry up and take a look? Just follow my Xian, and you may see super good-looking selfies. Just follow. You won't be at a disadvantage and won't be fooled. Just follow and you can join our Yen fan group. When the law students saw that the Yen fans had taken so much effort to accept the title of vase, and even interpreted it to mean something else, and even managed to win over a large number of Yen fans through publicity, they were also full of admiration. They secretly reflected that they still needed to work harder. As law students, they could not admit defeat. The topic hashtag #FangZhenchuan was called a flower vase hashtag, which was originally at the end of the trending search, fell and was replaced by hashtag #FangZhenchuan's fans say that he is the most expensive flower vase hashtag, and he even rushed into the top 10 in one fell swoop. There was an inexplicable feeling that the fans doted on him. The passers-by also thought it was quite funny. It was the first time they heard that a flower vase could have such an explanation. When the fans were anti-defaming and recommending, they all posted 18 by 18 grid photos. They posted all kinds of super good-looking screenshots of Fang Zhenchuan in the show, including brushing his hair in the water, hugging his teammates and laughing happily, etc. Really, every one of them could be used as wallpaper. It was too good-looking. There were also fans who made many of Fang Zhenchuan's eye-catching moments in the show into animated pictures and posted them. When the passers-by saw the animated pictures, many of them were curious about the show and went to watch it. The program team was surprised to find that after Fang Zhenchuan became a hot topic because of being a flower vase, the ratings of the first episode of Extreme Mode actually ushered in a very good increase. This could be a good start. The addition of a newcomer in the first episode not only did not have a negative impact, but it also increased the ratings. Mr. Feng was happy and gave everyone a big red packet. It was a good luck, and everything would go smoothly in the future. After watching the first episode, Fang Zhenchuan's fans and the other fans who had seen the repo were anxious to go to the scene. Only one episode was edited. If they went to the scene, how long could they watch it? They must go to the scene to watch it. Ever since the first repo was released, Fang Zhenchuan's fans wanted to go to the scene. But who knew the second episode was filmed indoors, the third episode was filmed on an island, and the fourth episode was filmed indoors. When they finally went to the scene, the show was already on the fifth episode. There were only 12 episodes in total, and how many more chances do they have to see the real Rao? But the fans were still happy to be able to go to the scene. What's more, it happened to be May 20th. And the program team was preparing to start filming. Fang Zhenchuan entered the venue with everyone, and his fans shouted in unison, "Fang Zhenchuan, Happy Valentine's Day. We love you." Fang Zhenchuan was shocked and looked at the girls who shouted, "My fans." The team leader smiled and patted Fang Zhenchuan's shoulder. "Handsome guys are indeed different. You have so many fans, and it's more than the 5 of us combined. Ha ha." The team leader did not mind and was just joking. Feng Zhenxuan scratched the back of his head and looked at the fans. He felt it was a little magical. This was the first time he saw his fans, and they were so passionate. When the fans saw him looking over, they immediately waved their hands happily. Seeing this, the director turned on Feng Zhenxuan's microphone and said to Feng Zhenxuan, "It's Valentine's Day. You should also communicate with your fans. Just tell them not to shout later." "Ah." Feng Zhenxuan smiled and waved to his fans. He said loudly, "Thank you for coming today. You guys are happy to. Just don't shout during the recording later, okay? Please." The fans had heard what the director said just now. When they saw that Feng Zhenxuan was indeed talking to them, they shouted a few times and quickly stopped. They happily made an okay gesture to him. After Feng Zhenxuan walked to his seat and stood there, he realized something and asked the team leader, "Today isn't Valentine's Day, right? Hasn't Valentine's Day been a few months ago?" The fans did not expect him to not even know this. 2 or 3 fans could not wait to tell him. "It's 520. Online Valentine's Day, not 214. We all love you anyway." Feng Zhenxuan quickly turned around and nodded at them. Okay. We're about to start filming. Be quiet." The fans immediately quieted down obediently. Chu Xiang looked at the fans and called Lin with a smile. "Go and prepare some gifts. Today is Valentine's Day, and it's also the first time everyone is meeting Zhenxuan. We should give him some satisfactory gifts. Sister Xiang, you're so considerate. They'll definitely be happy to death." The gift Chu Xiang asked Lin to prepare was very simple. It was a gift box of Dezhen chewing gum. There were a total of 5 flavors of Dezhen chewing gum. The gift box was packed with these 5 flavors. It looked much more exquisite than the ones sold separately. Of course, the price was also a little more expensive. During the break in the middle of the recording, Chu Xiang took a cart of chewing gum gift boxes to Feng Zhenxuan for autograph. All the fans saw it and guessed that the autograph must be for them. They could not help but scream. Feng Zhenxuan suddenly understood what kind of feelings Chu Xiang had for his fans who wanted to cherish him. They had nothing to do with him, but they would spend a lot of money to see him live. They would stand there for a long time and be very happy. They would also help him fight the haters online and publicize for him. They only wanted to give and not ask for anything in return. Such enthusiasm and love should indeed be cherished. The golden signature pen looked very good on the gift box. This was specially bought by Chu Xiang. It would not fade and could be kept for a long time. She asked Lin and Feng Yuan to send a box to every fan at the scene. Whether it was Feng Zhenxuan's fans or the fans of other MCs, everyone was very happy to receive it. Originally, this box was 520. Moreover, Feng Zhenxuan gave out Dezhen chewing gum in the Dezhen commercial. This was a gift with warmth. That commercial was too idol drama. Now they received Dezhen chewing gum from Feng Zhenxuan. It was a gift received on Valentine's Day. It was simply too blissful. Each of them was now the heroine of Dezhen's commercial. After the recording, the fans were satisfied. They were so excited that their faces hurt. When they posted the repo, the fans who did not come almost died of jealousy. It also made the other fans want to follow the scene even more. They regretted not coming this time, and missing out on such a good benefit. As expected, hashtag Feng Zhenxuan's Valentine's Day gift hashtag was trending. It was inconvenient for a lot of the content of the recording to be in the repo, but the words of Feng Zhenxuan and the fans, as well as the photos of the signed gift box, could be posted. Such a special gift was really meaningful. The dream of Feng Zhenxuan personally delivering it to Dezhen had been realized. Even Dezhen's very idle drama advertisement had been dug out and posted countless times. After Feng Zhenxuan finished work and returned to the hotel, he borrowed the kitchen to cook a feast and invited Chu Xiang to eat together. Chu Xiang looked at the dining table. "Wow, so sumptuous? Why, are you grateful that I helped you get on the hot search today?" Feng Zhenxuan pulled out a chair for her to sit down and poured her a glass of juice. "Of course not. If I especially thank you every time I get on the hot search, I'm afraid I won't be able to thank you enough. Isn't it a holiday today? No matter what holiday it is, it can't be spent peacefully, right? But now that I'm considered famous, It's not convenient for me to go out. Let's have a good meal in the hotel. I learned these dishes diligently, and they're all very delicious. Chu Xiang nodded. Okay, it looks very good. Thank you. He sat down and clinked his glass of juice with Chu Xiang's. He smiled at Chu Xiang. You must be happy during the holidays. I hope. You'll be happy every day in the future. Chapter 216. On Valentine's Day, Fang Zhenxuan could still be on the hot search list, and he only gave out a few boxes of chewing gum. The cost was extremely low. This made many artists who tried their best to be on the hot search list, but couldn't help but feel jealous. Chen Lifeng was one of them. His assistant looked at the fan repos and found that it was Chu Xiang's idea to give out chewing gum. When he mentioned it, Chen Lifeng felt uncomfortable in his heart. Chu Xiang had been his agent for 8 years. Why didn't she put so much effort into marketing for him? At that time, didn't Chu Xiang often say that actors had to rely on their acting skills? It wasn't necessarily a good thing to be on the hot search list. It was right to maintain a sense of mystery. What was going on now? How many times had Fang Zhenxuan been on the hot search list in such a short time? It was obviously Chu Xiang who pushed it up. What did Chu Xiang mean by this? Was it really because she liked handsome guys that she put more effort into it? He was angry when he thought of Chu Xiang's Weibo post that implied that she didn't like him. He was even angrier that Chu Xiang changed a new Weibo post after that post. It was as if she disliked him and completely drew a line with him. Even the old Weibo that had a lot of news about him was abandoned. Chen Lifeng specially spent a lot of money to book a floor of the restaurant on Valentine's Day, and had a candlelight dinner with Zhou Yuan, so that Liu could use the material to create hype. Who knew that their real couple giving out sweets didn't even touch the edge of the hot search list? Liu hired the internet water army to create momentum, but it didn't even reach the hot search list. Chen Lifeng had switched his allegiance to Liu because Liu was good at creating hype. Now that Liu had lost to Chu Xiang consecutively, Chen Lifeng was very unhappy. When he faced Liu, he brought out his dissatisfaction, making the two of them somewhat unhappy. Liu recalled Chu Xiang's style in the past few years and comforted Chen Lifeng. It's okay. She was probably stimulated by you and wanted to make some achievements. She used all kinds of methods. Think about it. The artist she was managing was at the level of a best actor. Now he suddenly became transparent. How can she live with it? Of course, she has to do something to prove that she can do it. However, Rao's nature could not be changed no matter what. She had been lucky during this period of time. She did not like publicity and did not like to be high profile. This kind of situation would definitely not last. You also think that she is stubborn, not smart and not flexible, right? Don't worry. Come back after a while. Now you and Zhou Yuan should focus on filming Love's Wish. Strive to have a dessert in every episode and be on the hot search list. Love's Wish was also a variety show that was filmed and broadcast at the same time. Half of the filming was already done, and the first episode was about to be broadcast. Originally, Chen Lifeng and Zhou Yuan wanted to warm up the show on Valentine's Day, so that they could receive more attention. They didn't expect that they didn't succeed. They even watched Fang Zhenxuan easily rush to the front row of the hot search. They felt a little aggrieved. They were quite confident in traveling Love's Wish. Chu Xiang had already received complaints about the production of Traveling Love's Wish. Chu Xiang, what kind of person did you arrange for me? They're still in the honeymoon phase, aren't they? Why do I feel like they're deliberately giving out sweets? Chu Xiang was in the hotel. She had just taken a shower and was about to blow-dry her hair. When she received the call, she put the hairdryer aside and lay on the sofa. Isn't that good? After the broadcast, they'll be so sweet and awkward. How big of a contrast will it be? The discussion will definitely not be low. Just wait for it to be on the hot search list. I don't care. You forced this person on me. You have to help me think of a way. Chu Xiang smiled and said, if you let me think about it, let Fang Zhenxuan be on your show. What? The other party was stunned for a moment. Chu Xiang, it's not me. Even if you support Fang Zhenxuan, you can't let him be on every show. This is a couple show. Don't tell me Fang Zhenxuan has a girlfriend now? You want him to make it public? It doesn't necessarily have to be a couple on a couple show. Sister Qing, aren't you going to film an episode of couples acting separately soon? At that time, it will be 4 girls and 4 boys together, right? Let Zhenxuan travel with the 4 girls as a helper. He's handsome, so the scene must be very eye-catching. He has good physical strength, so he can help the sisters move. He's good at foreign languages, so he can help the sisters ask for directions and order dishes, solving a lot of problems. How about it? Let's try something new. Recently, our Zhenxuan's popularity is worthy of your show, right? Sister Qing was speechless again. After a while, she said with a smile, Chu Xiang, oh Chu Xiang, why didn't I realize that you were so good at making use of the opportunity before? I was just calling to complain to you. How did you get into trouble? Chu Xiang smiled. That's also a good thing. Look at how many people like Zhenxuan on Valentine's Day today. Believe me, when the time comes, I'll arrange for him to talk with the 4 sisters about their views on marriage. It will definitely be a big show. He's single from the mother's womb, and he has experienced a lot of things. His ideas are mature. He will definitely be able to collide with the 4 sisters' views. The show will come. Sister Qing thought about it seriously. Letting Fang Zhenxuan join in this episode would not affect the theme of couples traveling separately. The original show would still have the original show. Moreover, Fang Zhenxuan was not popular recently. Letting the handsome man talk about his views on marriage was really likely to cause a heated discussion. It was a good idea. She chuckled and said, You're really good. I think this will work. You tell Fang Zhenxuan well, and let him catch the show. Don't think that I won't take care of you. If he's really interesting, I'll give him more scenes. Is that enough? That's enough. But you should also tell him to be careful. Zhou Yuan must not like you. How many years has it been since she debuted as a child star? If she stumbles on Fang Zhenxuan and makes him fall for it, I can't help much. Some scenes can't be cut. Chu Xiang was not worried at all. Is there anyone who can trick a lawyer? No matter how long Zhou Yuan has been in the industry, she's not qualified. Don't worry, she won't cause you trouble. Then it's settled. I'll take him there later, and bring you a gift. No gift. Bye. Chu Xiang hung up the phone with a smile, and wrote down the schedule of Love's Wish on the schedule. Before she finished writing, she heard the doorbell ring. She walked over and opened the door. It was Fang Zhenxuan. Fang Zhenxuan was stunned when he saw her wrapped in a white nightgown with wet hair. He quickly looked away and said, I saw that there was a storm on the internet again. I wanted to see what I could do. Ha! What storm on the internet? Chu Xiang turned into the room and opened Weibo as she walked. Fang Zhenxuan was a little surprised. You still don't know? In fact, I don't think it's anything. It's just that the previous vase incident has died down. And suddenly there are many people talking about this and that. If such a topic continues to be quarreled, will it ruin the popularity of passers-by? Valentine's Day hasn't passed yet. How about I post a selfie to divert attention? Chu Xiang sat cross-legged on the sofa and glanced at him with a smile. Not bad. Now you know how to think from a PR perspective. But you don't have to take a selfie. The fewer benefits there are, the better. If it's too easy to get, no one will cherish it. Just like today, I asked my assistant to send the gift instead of letting you send it yourself. Remember to keep a certain distance from your fans on all kinds of occasions in the future. You can't let people mistakenly think that they can do anything to your handsome brother, understand? Got it. Fang Zhenxuan chuckled and sat next to her. So we're not doing anything now? Chu Xiang nodded. I think I know who did it. I heard that Liu wanted to make Chen Lifeng and Zhou Yuan's sweet date trending tonight, but he didn't succeed. Only he would be jealous and disgusting like this. However, the second episode of Extreme Mode will be broadcasted tomorrow. That's the best face slap. Now let's just treat it as him adding to our popularity. Let people scold you and train your heart strength. Fang Zhenxuan shrugged and threw his phone on the coffee table. I'm fine. How can I learn law without a strong heart? In fact, Liu couldn't find any new points to ridicule Fang Zhenxuan. He just let the internet water army keep spreading the same argument. What else did Fang Jinchuan have besides his face? Could he be in the entertainment industry if he studied law well? Could he film good TV series and variety shows just because he was good-looking? How far could he go as a vase with such a sense of superiority? After a few years, his skin wouldn't be good. What would he have left? Because they were all rhetorical questions and didn't have any offensive language, it was useless to report them. A large number of similar comments appeared. Even if Fang Jinchuan's fans took a different approach and Fang Jinchuan was the most expensive vase, it still made the real passers-by think. Was Fang Jinchuan really useless except for his face? Even if he was really good-looking, the fans' point of view that anything could be done because he was good-looking was wrong, right? Wasn't this propaganda saying that good-looking people could do whatever they wanted? Then everyone should go for plastic surgery. What was the point of working hard? The vase theory, that everyone had previously treated as a joke, gradually became controversial as the internet water army stirred up the water. The big fan who received Chu Xiang's reply hurriedly sent a lot of private messages to Chu Xiang, urgently asking for help. They were afraid that Chu Xiang would be asleep at this time and couldn't handle the public relations in time. Chu Xiang saw it and showed it to Fang Jinchuan with a smile. Look at how cute the fans are. It's so late and they don't sleep to help you fight the haters. When the right opportunity comes, you have to cooperate and give them benefits. No problem. Fang Jinchuan looked at her still wet hair and got up to get the hairdryer. It's so late and you're still busy for me. Let me help you dry your hair. Do you know how to do it? Of course. I've taken care of Xinxin for so many years. What can't I know? Fang Jinchuan turned on the hairdryer and tested the temperature on his hand. He gently dried Chu Xiang's hair. When his fingers shuttled through Chu Xiang's soft hair, the feeling of his heart beating faster came again. Fortunately, he was behind Chu Xiang, so she couldn't see his expression. He silently took a deep breath and slowed down his movements, as if he was treating something precious, cherishing it. Chu Xiang raised her eyes and saw Fang Jinchuan's figure on the dark TV screen. Handsome men looked handsome in everything they did. It was really eye-catching. She smiled slightly and lowered her head to reply to the big fan's private message. Believe in Jinchuan and go to bed early. Remember to watch Extreme Mode, kiss. This big fan was a fan of appearance. Her first reaction was that the first episode of Extreme Mode was very good, and the second episode was also very good. However, wasn't the controversy this time because the first episode highlighted Fang Jinchuan's handsomeness? So what if the second episode was broadcasted? She was also a little slow in fighting the haters. She hurriedly found two trustworthy big fans to discuss it, and one of them was a law student. The law student carefully analyzed Chu Xiang's words and believed that the second episode of Extreme Mode must have highlighted Jinchuan's strength in a certain aspect, so they believed in Jinchuan. They might not even need to fight the haters for the flower vase theory this time. Extreme Mode could slap them in the face. After such an analysis, they were slightly relieved. However, of course, it was impossible for them to sleep. Even if they didn't fight the haters, they had to crazily recommend it. Popularity was popularity, and they couldn't waste it at all. After a few discussions, they immediately called on the fans to give up fighting the haters and began to post to recommend it. The control comments were also all about it. They crazily recommended everyone to watch Extreme Mode and reminded everyone to remember which platform to watch the second episode of Extreme Mode the next day. For a time, the focus of this controversy changed again. The topic of flower vase was flooded by the second episode of Extreme Mode. Fans from all sides, including netizens who didn't watch variety shows, knew when the second episode of Extreme Mode was broadcasted. Everyone didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Were Fang Jinchuan's fans poisonous? Why did they suddenly stop fighting? What was going on with crazily recommending Extreme Mode? However, such an organized and disciplined fan group inexplicably made people have a good impression. No matter how the water army led the rhythm, it was useless if no one cooperated. Fang Jinchuan's fans had left, and the water army's one-man show seemed deliberate. They could only beat the gong to retreat. Liu couldn't help but curse when he saw this result. He also suspected that Fang Jinchuan's fans were poisonous. This group of law students were mavericks. He couldn't guess their thoughts at all. However, it didn't matter. There would be plenty of opportunities in the future. Now he had already left everyone with the impression that Fang Zhenxuan was useless. As long as Fang Zhenxuan couldn't produce any works for a period of time, the amount of favorability the passers-by had for him now would be the amount of backlash he would suffer in the future. It wasn't necessarily a good thing for Chu Xiang to raise him so high. Who knows, it might end up killing him in the end. His mentality could only affect himself. Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan didn't know at all. Chu Xiang told Fang Zhenxuan about filming Love's Wish. Although Love's Wish couldn't be compared to Extreme Mode, it was still a second-tier popular variety show. With Fang Zhenxuan's current qualifications, filming an episode was a very good resource. Fang Zhenxuan also knew that if he went and saw Zhou Yuan, he would likely be made difficult for him. He asked Chu Xiang what he could and couldn't do, and what he should pay attention to. The farce on the internet came to a dramatic end. In the end, the deepest impression left on people was that they must watch the second episode of Extreme Mode. It also made people not know whether to laugh or cry. Mr. Feng even called Chu Xiang to tease her. He had profited by inviting Fang Zhenxuan to join. He even saved on the publicity fee. When the second episode of Extreme Mode was broadcast, the ratings were indeed higher than the first episode from the beginning. The brainwashing publicity of the fans was not effective. Moreover, this storm made many passers-by and fans of other families want to watch the show. They wanted to see how Fang Zhenxuan was doing in the second episode. Why did the fans recommend the second episode so much? With this, they fell into it. Wasn't Fang Zhenxuan too smart? At the beginning of the show, they didn't show who the traitor was. They only asked the 6 MCs to solve the puzzles and break through the levels. Everyone cooperated well, and was very united. In the end, they suddenly found a clue that there was a traitor among them. Not only were the MCs surprised, but the audience watching the show in front of the screen were also confused. Who was the traitor? How did it look like there was a traitor? Then, as the most important member of the team, Fang Zhenxuan helped whoever needed it. The bullet screen praised him for being so sensible. Seeing that he was logical and meticulous, reasoned the clues, solved the puzzles, found the map, solved Huarong Dao, and opened the door lock, the other MCs praised him. And the bullet screen also praised him for his wit. Everyone gradually understood why Fang Zhenxuan's fans were so crazy about this episode. Who said that Fang Zhenxuan was a vase? He was so smart, and his performance in the brain-burning theme was too good. Until they saw Fang Zhenxuan take the 5 MCs to a room. Everyone naturally thought that they were going to break through another level. As a result, Fang Zhenxuan suddenly opened the secret door and ran out, locking the 5 people inside. The audience saw the shocked and dazed expressions of the 5 MCs on the screen, as if they were looking into a mirror, because none of them thought that Fang Zhenxuan was actually the traitor. They just watched Fang Zhenxuan run to sound the victory gong in shock. At this time, the show also showed the scene of the director asking Fang Zhenxuan to be the traitor before the recording. Fang Zhenxuan said that he was very nervous and afraid that he would not do well. He would try his best to deceive everyone and win. The bullet screen was quiet for a few seconds, and then the screen was flooded crazily. Are you still afraid that you won't do well? I don't believe your nonsense. Sure enough, men are good at lying. I shouldn't have believed that you are a pure and kind messenger. You are clearly an intelligent and witty villain. I love you so much. Xian, you really tried your best. You deceived everyone. I feel like my IQ has been insulted. Why didn't I see it at all? Our IQ has been insulted. To tell you the truth, I am also a top student. Now I suspect that I am a fake top student. Every time I get first place, it's just luck. I don't deserve to talk about IQ. The show continued to show detailed scenes of Fang Zhenxuan looking for the map fragments behind everyone's back, destroying the map fragments, making fake clues, misleading words, and so on. When everyone saw this, they suddenly realized how Fang Zhenxuan had deceived everyone to become the perfect traitor. But it was also because of this that they could clearly see how smart Fang Zhenxuan was, how calm and composed he was, and how strong his reaction and language skills were. Everyone suddenly remembered that Fang Zhenxuan was a top student in the law school, and he had skipped a grade. He often went out to work, and he was elected as the president of the student union, and came in first in every exam. In addition, his law student fans had posted pictures of him. He had won many competitions, hosted large-scale school activities, and participated in national conferences as a student representative. How was he a vase? He was clearly so outstanding that a large number of law students were his fans. They chased him into the entertainment industry and formed his legal army. He was a top student not because he only knew how to study law, but because he was outstanding in all aspects. That was why he could study law so well. He was smart, had fast reactions, strong language skills, strong logical reasoning skills, rich knowledge reserves, strong organization skills, strong control skills. Wait. These abilities could be seen from the honors he had received in school. He had been trained like this, and his colorful working life had brought him a lot of benefits. He was clearly a treasure boy. Now everyone could not wait to see more of his strengths. Who said he was a vase? Sure enough, as the fans said, even if he was a vase, he was the most expensive one in the world. How could an antique vase be the same as a street vendor? Hashtag Fang Zhenxuan's high IQ hashtag Fang Zhenxuan's second episode of Extreme Mode hashtag Fang Zhenxuan smells so good hashtag 20 minutes after Extreme Mode aired, 3 trending searches with Fang Zhenxuan's name appeared. An hour later, these 3 trending searches had rushed to 1st, 3rd, and 7th place respectively. Some passers-by who did not know why this Fang Zhenxuan was on the trending searches again? But even if someone wanted to hype him up, they could not do it because this time, there was real talent. Looking at the video clips online, they felt that this episode was very interesting. Many people went to watch the second episode of Extreme Mode. The second episode of Extreme Mode exploded. It had always been a show that became popular. There had never been such a clear way for everyone to remember which episode became popular. However, the second episode of Extreme Mode was deeply engraved in everyone's mind. Whether they liked it or not, they all went to watch it. Then they really felt that it was very good. In addition to the headache, Fang Zhenxuan, who looked pure and kind in white, turned into a traitor, was also amazing. Moreover, Fang Zhenxuan looked so good in the ancient costume. He held a folding fan and stood there with his hands behind his back, looking like an elegant young master. It was really great. Some people found that his style was the same as Zhou Yanjun's in The Legend of Jing Fei. They could not help but look forward to the broadcast of The Legend of Jing Fei. Director Chen of The Legend of Jing Fei sent a WeChat message to Chu Xiang. Not bad, Chu. You didn't even mention it when filming the variety show and you can still promote Jing Fei. You're really something. Chu Xiang replied, Director Chen, this is not considered promotion. Wait until Jing Fei is broadcast and then come back to see my level of promotion. Director Chen did not understand what she meant, but it seemed that there were other movements in the future. It would definitely be good for The Legend of Jing Fei. He really did not expect that just giving Fang Zhenxuan an audition would have such benefits. He could not help but want to work with Fang Zhenxuan again next time. Which director would not love an actor who was humble and had acting skills that could bring in traffic? Director Chen pondered and thought about which friend of his had a show to shoot. He could pull some strings for Fang Zhenxuan. This junior was worth supporting, and it was a good thing for both sides to form good karma. Chu Xiang actually had her own plans. She could not promote for others for free. Originally, the crew of The Legend of Jing Fei did not bring Fang Zhenxuan to the show's promotion. After all, Fang Zhenxuan had very few scenes. But because the netizens were looking forward to The Legend of Jing Fei after watching Extreme Mode, and found that the styles of the two sides were the same, the crew of The Legend of Jing Fei brought Fang Zhenxuan in the last promotion. And this last promotion was the most intense. It was recorded on the most famous national variety show. It was a good resource for Fang Zhenxuan. National popularity was very important. Weibo's hot search could only reach a portion of the audience. Many viewers did not use Weibo at all. Then, Extreme Mode, the national variety show, and Love's Wish. These 3 super good resources could let Fang Zhenxuan walk into the eyes of the audience and let his popularity rise. The more such resources, the better. In the last national variety show, there was a shorthand segment in the game. Fang Zhenchuan successfully helped the crew achieve success and deepen the audience's impression of his intelligence. In the end, Fang Zhenchuan and a few other actors in the crew sang the theme song of Antelope TV. There were 2 lines that he sang alone. What surprised everyone was that although his singing was not as good as a professional singer, he was definitely an amateur singer. It was very good. Although Fang Zhenchuan's position and the number of people in the show made it so that Fang Zhenchuan did not have many solo scenes in this episode, it could deepen his image of his intelligence and show that he sang well. The purpose of this episode had been achieved. After the fans finished watching the show, another comment was added to the daily selfie request. It was asking for a song. It was a pity that he sang so well and did not have a song. It would be good even if he sent a video to the fans. Sing more. As usual, Chu Xiang received a lot of private messages. Maybe it was because Fang Zhenchuan was tied to her in a high-profile manner when he debuted. Later, Fang Zhenchuan's resources were so good, and they were all done by Chu Xiang. Therefore, Fang Zhenchuan's fans had a very good impression of Chu Xiang. They were not like the other fans of Yirao at all, who often looked down on Yirao's studio and staff. They completely treated Chu Xiang as one of their own. In particular, some of the fans who knew that Chu Xiang replied to the big fans liked to send private messages to Chu Xiang. Who knew? She might have seen their requests. Chu Xiang really did see it. She was preparing for the fan benefits when Fang Zhenchuan's Weibo fans exceeded 1 million. When she saw these private messages, she immediately had an idea. Since your fans want to hear you sing, then you should satisfy them. This time, the fan benefits will be recording a song and singing video at home. Let the fans be happy. By the way, do you know any instruments? Fang Zhenchuan said. I know how to play the guitar and the piano a little. It's just that I'm not very good at it. I learned it as a hobby. Chu Xiang immediately asked Fang Yuan to buy a guitar and an electronic keyboard. Play it for me. Later, I'll choose a song for you to practice. Fang Zhenchuan. I'm going to film extreme mode soon. Why don't I bring the guitar along and practice a few more times before recording? Chu Xiang laughed and shook her head. No, you have to record at home. It's so beautiful at home. Let everyone see it. Fang Zhenchuan remembered that Chu Xiang had asked him to take the selfie on the sofa at home last time. This time, she was recording at home again. She must be secretly plotting something. However, Chu Xiang didn't say anything, so he didn't ask. She could trick anyone, but she couldn't trick him. When the summer break arrived, Chu Xiang chose a song about summer for Fang Zhenchuan. The style of the song was relaxed and cheerful, and the lyrics were a little sweet. It was more of a sunny and warm feeling, which was suitable for Fang Zhenchuan and his fans at this time. Fang Zhenchuan recorded it in his study room. He wore a white shirt and played the guitar while singing. He looked very much like the gentle senior in school that people yearned for. The moment he raised his eyes, raised his eyebrows, and lowered his head was like a painting that people couldn't help but want to treasure. A few big fans were shocked when they saw the video. They Chu Xiang and thanked her for fulfilling their wishes. Only then did the fans know that Chu Xiang knew how to read private messages and paid so much attention to the fans' requests. What kind of godly manager was this? I love it, I love it. I must protect my manager well, and not be snatched away by others. When Fang Zhenchuan's number of fans rose, Chu Xiang's number of fans also rose. She was probably the most popular manager. Although she didn't show up much, it seemed that there were already rumors about her in the fan circle. However, it was limited to the fan circle for the time being and hadn't spread out yet. Fang Zhenchuan sang very well, and the way he played the guitar was also very charming. The fans watched it countless times and forwarded the video of their idol singing again and again. Fang Zhenchuan's popularity was really high now. Once everyone was curious about him and had the intention to pay attention to him, it was easy for him to become very popular if he did anything. Chu Xiang didn't do anything at all, and hashtag Fang Zhenchuan's million fan benefits hashtag became a hot search. However, it was always around the 20th place and didn't rise anymore. Slowly, some people's attention was no longer on Fang Zhenchuan's singing, but on his study in the video. The computer on the table was the one with the cheapest configuration that cost 20,000 yuan. His computer chair cost 18,000 yuan. This computer must be a high-end one, right? Was the thermos cup the new one from Dior? 1800. Did you see the guitar? At least 30,000 yuan. The figurines on the shelf behind him, the cheapest one cost 2,000 yuan. And the big ones cost tens of thousands. And the white shirt he was wearing, there was an embroidered B on the left side. This was the one that cost more than 4,000 yuan. Feng Zhenxuan's home casually had this configuration. Wasn't he a newcomer who just debuted not long ago? Soon someone dug out Feng Zhenxuan's nanny van 8 million yuan. Occasionally, there were photos of him getting out of the car and entering the set, or going to the recording venue. His entire body was also covered in international brands. No one would have thought that a singing fan's benefits would turn to how much money Feng Zhenxuan had. Feng Zhenxuan had already finished filming The Legend of Jing Fei and received his salary. He should have received some from filming variety shows. Logically speaking, it wasn't that he couldn't afford these things, but the quality of life and income should be proportional. Feng Zhenxuan's private clothes were all international brands. His computer and guitar were all so expensive. And those figurines, things that could be bought or not, also cost so much money. And his house, the decoration was also very luxurious. It was very hard for him to work to raise his niece. Now, how could he spend the little money he earned? Unless he had other channels to earn a lot of money. While everyone was paying attention to this matter, Feng Zhenxuan was reviewing the variety show he filmed with Chu Xiang to see where the performance was not good enough and needed to be improved. Feng Zhenxuan browsed Weibo and asked in confusion, "You're doing this just for this? But why are you asking everyone to pay attention to this?" Chu Xiang smiled. The internet has memories, and many rumors can come back. Of course, we have to find a chance to wash them away. In case the company doesn't like it, others have to start the trouble first. You can post on Weibo now. Just be honest and don't worry about anything else. Feng Zhenxuan suddenly remembered that when Chu Xiang was criticized by the entire internet, one of them was that Chu Xiang sucked Chen Lifeng's blood and used him to make a lot of money. It turned out that Chu Xiang was setting a trap for Chen Lifeng. He was so sad back then, but why did he let it go so quickly? It turned out that he wanted to secretly take revenge. Why did it feel a little cute? He quickly wrote a Weibo. Feng Zhenxuan v. Thank you for your concern. I rented the house of my agent, Big Rao, and the car is also Big Rao's. Everything at home, and my private clothes are taken care of by my agent. Even the salaries of my assistant, driver, and nanny are paid by my agent. Of course, I improved my quality of life in advance and am currently in debt. Let me introduce to everyone, this is my creditor Chu Xiang. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't dare to owe so much money. My agent, I can definitely earn it back double. What do you think? Smile. Before the haters could make up a story, the main character came out to explain. To everyone's surprise, the answer was so simple. It was all Chu Xiang's money. Then some people were puzzled. Did Chu Xiang have so much money? That's right. She donated more than 30 million yuan to charity, so she should be quite rich. But, did Chu Xiang take the money from Chen Lifeng's income? When the first episode of Love's Wish was broadcast, Chen Lifeng was filmed setting off from his house. His house was quite big, but the details and furnishings didn't seem to be as expensive as Feng Zhenxuan's house. This was just a house rented to Feng Zhenxuan. How expensive would Chu Xiang's own house be? Did Chu Xiang, the agent, earn more than Chen Lifeng, the best actor? Could it be that they had a financial dispute before they broke up? Did Chu Xiang really suck Chen Lifeng's blood? When Liu saw this news, he immediately contacted Chen Lifeng. Lifeng, tell me the truth. Did Chu Xiang have other agreements with you in private? She didn't follow the company's share? Otherwise, how could she earn so much money as an agent? Chen Lifeng and the original owner didn't have any private agreements, but the original owner loved him and didn't take the initiative to ask for the share many times. He pretended to forget, and the original owner didn't mention it. It seemed that he had taken advantage of Chu Xiang. He felt that Chu Xiang didn't have much money at all. He knew that Chu Xiang's original house and car didn't cost much. Could it be that Chu Xiang had used all her savings over the years on Fang Zhenxuan? Chen Lifeng felt uncomfortable and had a strong sense of difference. He changed the words that were about to come out of his mouth. We didn't have a private agreement. I don't know how she earned the money. At that time, I was focused on honing my acting skills and aiming for the Best Actor award. Chu Xiang took care of everything else. Chu Xiang took care of everything? Then she has a lot of room to maneuver, and she can get a lot of commission. Liu had done similar things himself, so he naturally thought in this direction. He sneered. This time you've got something on her. You might as well use this popularity to trample on her. If her image is bad, your side will naturally be better. Who knows, you might be able to make up for the lost popularity. That's not good. There's no evidence to prove that she did anything bad. Chen Lifeng didn't mean what he said. Liu took care of this matter. Don't worry. There's no evidence on the internet. As long as she can't defend herself, it's the truth. Just wait for the show. She was so heartless to steal your resources back then. You don't need to care about old times now. Okay, be careful. Chen Lifeng raised the corner of his lips and poured himself a glass of red wine to celebrate in advance. Chu Xiang had caused so much trouble for him. How could he not take revenge? Every time he saw Fang Zhenxuan's popularity increase because of extreme mode, he gritted his teeth in hatred. That was originally his resource. Now did Chu Xiang think it was so easy to create a good person image? Things like a character image could be overturned at any time. There were too many hidden rules in the entertainment industry. A stubborn person like her wouldn't be able to play. Chapter 217. The original owner and Chen Lifeng had worked together for 8 years. It was impossible for Chen Lifeng to overturn his impression of the previous 8 years, just because of Chu Xiang's recent actions. He even suspected that Chu Xiang had pushed Fang Zhenxuan to the top of the search list several times, because someone was behind it. Therefore, he had never regarded Chu Xiang as an enemy who could threaten him. Of course, Liu thought so too. Habitual thinking couldn't be changed once or twice. She wouldn't learn her lesson unless she was hit hard once. Therefore, Liu was very excited to seize this opportunity and found the internet water army to set the pace. He must make Chu Xiang suffer a big setback. Many marketing accounts began to post articles questioning where Chu Xiang earned the money. Many keyboard warriors on the internet hated the rich and felt that it was unfair for people in the entertainment industry to earn so much money. Now that they suddenly found out that an unknown agent like Chu Xiang had so much money, they immediately grabbed Chu Xiang and mocked her as if she was a model. The entertainment industry is really amazing now. Great agent Chu only relied on Chen Lifeng to make a lot of money. Chu Xiang wasn't wronged when she was criticized by the whole internet last time, right? Maybe she was sucking Chen Lifeng's blood, and Chen Lifeng couldn't stand it and fell out with her. Chu Xiang gave a newcomer such a configuration. You can imagine how extravagant she is. Many celebrities in variety shows don't have as extravagant a home as her, right? She still has the nerve to use donations to clear her name. How shameless. Chu Xiang saw that people began to question her and scold her online. She was not in a hurry to clarify. She even used her account to guide them. Chu Xiang can earn so much money as Chen Lifeng's agent. Chen Lifeng must have earned even more, right? He just won the Best Actor award this year. How can he earn so much as an actor? Liu wanted to use these keyboard warriors who hated the rich to drag Chen Lifeng down with her. Chen Lifeng was immediately caught in the whirlpool of this crusade. There were even people who at the relevant departments, asking them to check Chu Xiang and Chen Lifeng's tax situation, suspecting that they had done something improper to earn so much money. Chen Lifeng and Liu's hearts skipped a beat when they saw this. Recently, they didn't know if it was the water going against the flow or something else, but good things always turn bad. This time, they were clearly the ones who wanted to step on Chu Xiang, but in the end, they had dragged themselves down with them. Liu hurriedly called Chen Lifeng to ask him about the tax payment. They had just started working together, so how could they trust each other? Chen Lifeng had some tax problems in private, but he wouldn't tell him. So Chen Lifeng replied that he had always been law-abiding and had no problems. Liu was relieved to hear this. He had no intention of stopping at all. He kept asking people to take the lead and call for Chu Xiang to come out and explain. He even mocked Fang Zhenxuan for being a fool who sold Chu Xiang out with a video and a Weibo post. There was a lot of ridicule for Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan online. Fang Zhenxuan's fans didn't have much strength in their criticism because they couldn't figure out where Chu Xiang's money came from. Although they liked Chu Xiang, if Chu Xiang's money really came from Chen Lifeng, wouldn't Chu Xiang suck Fang Zhenxuan's blood in the future? They were at a loss now and didn't know whether they should help Chu Xiang or not. They just wanted to get a reply from Chu Xiang as soon as possible. Xingchen Entertainment's public relations manager asked Chu Xiang about the specific situation in the 6-person group. Anyway, several relevant managers in charge of public relations were in the group. If there was anything, they could video call in the group. Everyone could see and communicate easily. Chu Xiang was silent for a while before saying, "I made my money from investments and antiques. I didn't cheat Chen Lifeng of his money. On the contrary, he didn't give me a share many times. It's like half of my 8 years of work was for free." Chu Xiang heard a few gasps. The public relations manager was shocked. "Chen Lifeng didn't give you a share?" Chu Xiang lowered her head and was silent for a while. She looked up and smiled. "I used to think that he forgot, or that he spent a lot of money first. Anyway, we've always been together. It doesn't matter if he gives me a share sooner or later. I'm not in a hurry to use the money. You guys, can I get the money he owes me now?" "Of course you can. What kind of scumbag is this? He treats you so harshly and was unwilling to cooperate with public relations. I haven't been so disgusted in many years. You and Mr. Liang, ask Chen Lifeng for money according to the company contract. See if he dares not to give it." Chu Xiang smiled and nodded. "Then I'll go to the company tomorrow. It's okay. I make money openly. There are records of the income and expenditure. This matter is easy to clarify. It's about the vampire Chen Lifeng. I really don't want to be the scapegoat. He didn't give me a share. It must have affected him. No, I feel aggrieved. This is also the reason why I haven't said anything. Alas, it's really not easy to deal with being in the same company. Or do you know how to think for the company? How did you meet such a person? If you had a good character like Zhenxuan in the beginning, you might have been a gold medal agent now." Chu Xiang suggested. "How about this? Let Chen Lifeng come forward, and let him know that I don't have any financial disputes and contradictions with him. My money is earned from private investments. This won't affect him, and it can also break the rumors to the greatest extent. I have to show evidence for my own words. Once I show evidence, the truth will be exposed." The 5 people in the group didn't expect Chu Xiang to be willing to settle the matter. It seemed that it was just a matter of owing some money. The company would definitely be willing to help Chu Xiang get the money back. As long as Chu Xiang didn't suffer any losses, it would be best if she didn't publicly embarrass Chen Lifeng. If Chen Lifeng recovered, the company would gain more benefits. No company would be willing to have their e-rouse scandals exposed. The impression of Chu Xiang improved a lot. They immediately contacted Chen Lifeng after reporting to Mr. Liang. The company didn't know that this matter was done by Chen Lifeng. Of course, they thought that it was the most powerful and simple way for Chen Lifeng to refute the rumors. Who knew that Chen Lifeng was unwilling? Chen Lifeng didn't know where Chu Xiang's house and car were worth anything before. She only became rich recently, so he didn't know the origin of the money. He didn't know that Chu Xiang would invest and search for antiques. Then if he spoke out like this and it was exposed that Chu Xiang's money came from unknown sources, who would be responsible for the impact on him? The head of the public relations department was almost disgusted by his shamelessness. What unknown sources? Wasn't he just implying that Chu Xiang was a kept woman? Chu Xiang still cared about the fact that they were in the same company and didn't stand up for the truth. Chen Lifeng still had the nerve to implicate Chu Xiang. What a scumbag! The head of the public relations department didn't want to get involved in the financial dispute between Chu Xiang and Chen Lifeng. He only coldly and tactfully reminded Chen Lifeng that Chu Xiang seemed to want to talk to him about the previous agency contract. It was best for him to clarify this matter. It wouldn't look good for everyone if this matter was blown out of proportion. Chen Lifeng had always felt superior in front of Chu Xiang. After all, he had been wholeheartedly loved by a great beauty for 8 years. He had long regarded her as his loyal spare tire. He really didn't think that Chu Xiang would ask him for money. He knew that Chu Xiang was an orphan and especially valued relationships. It was impossible for her to publicly fall out with him. That was why he was fearless. But now the company actually knew that he didn't give Chu Xiang a share of the profits? Did Chu Xiang really spread the news about this matter? If this were to spread, how could he face others in the industry? Before he could think of what to do, Chu Xiang called. Chen Lifeng, I heard from the company. You're not willing to help me clarify the rumors? Aren't you a little too disgusting? Chen Lifeng was instantly annoyed. Chu Xiang, how can you say that? Chu Xiang sneered. I used to be bullied by you because I didn't have enough money. Today, I finally understand one thing. You dare to owe me so much money and refuse to pay. Why wouldn't I dare to expose you? Just you wait. I'll post our chat records online so that everyone can see who's the one sucking whose blood. At the same time, we can also see who's the one who likes to be ambiguous. Chu Xiang hung up after she finished speaking. She didn't give Chen Lifeng a chance to react. Chen Lifeng was anxious. Chu Xiang's attitude was obviously like a rabbit that was about to bite. It sounded like she was going to shed all pretense of cordiality. He didn't have time to think about why Chu Xiang would suddenly shed all pretense of cordiality. He could only think that if the chat records and evidence of him not giving her any money were exposed, he would be embroiled in a scandal. He hurriedly called Chu Xiang but was blocked. He contacted the head of the PR department and asked her to help him tell Chu Xiang that he was willing to cooperate. Then he asked Liu to quickly stop and draft a script for him to release. Liu asked him what was going on, but he didn't answer. Liu was furious. On the other side, the head of the PR department informed Chu Xiang that Chen Lifeng had agreed. Chu Xiang hesitated. When I called him just now, I felt that his attitude wasn't right. I've been with him for 8 years and know him very well. I feel like he knew in advance that I was going to be defamed. That's impossible, right? Chu Xiang. I'm not sure, so I want to wait for a while before clarifying. I want to ask someone to help me find out who is defaming me behind my back. I'm sorry, I just want to find out. If it's really related to Chen Lifeng, I don't want to be kept in the dark. Also, Chen Lifeng is so cold-blooded. I want to post on Weibo to scare him. Chu Xiang didn't post anything. She just posted. Don't complicate simple things. Wait for me to sort out the information. I'll tell everyone later. Several people understood her feelings. She had done so much for Chen Lifeng. Even now, when she was being scolded, she would still consider from the company's point of view and cooperate with Chen Lifeng. If Chen Lifeng really did something, then she would be too miserable. The company had channels to investigate things that were done behind the scenes. However, they would only investigate thoroughly when it was a big matter. As long as the matter died down, it would be fine. Now that Chu Xiang had mentioned it, they applied to President Liang for the company to help investigate. Chu Xiang thanked them and promised to bring them gifts when she went to work in other places in the future. Then she waited patiently. How could it be better for her to complain than for them to investigate on their own? If the company investigated Liu, it would be a reorganization of the employees. It wouldn't affect the company's increasingly good impression of her at all. Fang Zhenxuan sat next to her and watched TV from beginning to end. When he saw her intermission, he handed her a plate of fruit and smiled. Chu Xiang, you're amazing. If you were to debut in film, you would have won many awards for Best Actress. Chu Xiang accepted the compliment without hesitation. She took a bite of fruit and asked him, "Why don't you call me sister anymore? You're getting more and more naughty. You're directly calling me by my name." Fang Zhenxuan had his own thoughts. He took a sip of water unnaturally. It's so troublesome to have so many words. I used to call you honorifics when we weren't familiar with each other. Now that we're all on the same side, it's more intimate to call you by your name. Besides, you're so young and beautiful. Calling you sister makes you sound old. I'll be damned if I believe you. Chu Xiang chuckled and didn't care. Instead, she asked about his improvement in acting. Fang Zhenxuan quietly breathed a sigh of relief and chatted with her. In terms of homework, he had never lost, and he was never afraid of taking a test. He could answer any question fluently. There was nothing to be afraid of. Chen Lifeng didn't get a reply from Chu Xiang. He only saw Chu Xiang's Weibo warning of falling out. He gradually became anxious. It was as if he could see Chu Xiang taking screenshots of their chat records page by page, and editing words that were unfavorable to him. He suddenly seemed to have been woken up. He finally realized that Chu Xiang had changed. Chu Xiang really didn't value her feelings for him. Chu Xiang would really fall out with him. This subverted his understanding of Chu Xiang. He couldn't accept it and didn't dare to believe it. But this was the truth. He had to look at Chu Xiang with a new perspective now. Liu had already rushed to his residence. He didn't dare to hide it anymore. He told Liu truthfully that he owed Chu Xiang a share of the commission, and that his refusal to clarify for Chu Xiang had angered Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang's Weibo post was to fight with him. Liu was stunned for a long time after knowing the truth. He couldn't believe that there was such a stupid agent like Chu Xiang. They were both agents. He had thought of a lot of ways to make money from artists. Chu Xiang actually lost a lot of money on Chen Lifeng. This was true love. Zhou Yuan was far worse than Chu Xiang. Liu was also wary of Chen Lifeng. He couldn't trust such a scheming artist. It seemed that he had to be on guard against Chen Lifeng in the future. Liu and Chen Lifeng couldn't get in touch with Chu Xiang. They kept in touch with the company. Liu also expressed his dissatisfaction to the company. He meant that everything could be discussed in the same company. Chu Xiang was too impulsive to want to make a big deal out of it. President Liang always had a lot of things to deal with. Seeing that it was a conflict between Chu Xiang and Chen Lifeng again, he subconsciously felt a little annoyed. He ordered the relevant departments to deal with it as soon as possible. If it could be solved internally, it would be solved internally. Don't go out and embarrass yourself. Since President Liang had spoken, the people below sped up. Soon they found out that the person behind Chu Xiang was actually Liu. The head of the public relations department laughed when he received the news. What kind of rotten people were Chen Lifeng and Liu? They slandered Chu Xiang behind her back. They weren't happy when Chu Xiang suggested to settle things peacefully. Now that they knew that Chu Xiang was going to shed all pretense of cordiality, they complained to the company and blamed Chu Xiang for being insensible. She had seen a lot of competition between artists and managers, but it was rare to see people as disgusting as Chen Lifeng and Liu. She suddenly thought that in the past 8 years, no one had found Chen Lifeng to be so disgusting. Could it be that Chu Xiang had covered it all up? Looking at Chu Xiang's ability during this period, she could totally do it. Thinking of this, she despised Chen Lifeng even more. However, she was in the public relations department. It was not appropriate for her to express her personal feelings. She only complained to a few people who were close to her, and then reported the truth to President Liang. Of course, because her relationship with Chu Xiang was getting better in private, she sent Chu Xiang a WeChat message immediately after she found out the truth. President Liang was really angry when he heard that it was Chen Lifeng and Liu who were behind it, including the incident where Chu Xiang was slandered online. He personally called Chen Lifeng and Liu to warn them that if they were found to have harmed people in the same company again, their resources would be greatly reduced. This time, as a punishment, their resources would also be redistributed. As for Chu Xiang, President Liang still hoped that Chu Xiang would not expose it. The company would definitely help Chu Xiang get back the share she deserved. In addition, as compensation, the company would improve Chu Xiang's treatment. Fang Zhenxuan did not expect that there would be a good thing to compensate Chu Xiang. He looked at Chu Xiang and felt that he could not get enough of her. Chu Xiang asked as she typed, "Why are you looking at me like that? Do you suddenly feel that I'm so scary? You're so good at scheming people." Fang Zhenxuan quickly shook his head and leaned against the sofa to look at her. "No, I just think that you're amazing." "Why are you so amazing? Really, do you feel that it's hard to do this job? Why don't you teach me what an agent needs to do? I'll help you." Chu Xiang was amused by him. "What? You want to be your own agent and let me rest? Don't worry, I think it's very fun to do this job. Do you think it's hard to play with them?" Actually, it's as simple as breathing. Feng Zhenxuan thought about her state. She had always been relaxed and had never been anxious. He could not help but laugh. That's true. I think you're having a lot of fun too. Sai, the great Chu Xiang is really amazing. Not only did you clear the rumors about the source of the money, but you also got the company to favor you. You even got Chen Lifeng to help you clarify it personally. He's probably going to die of frustration. You're killing two birds with one stone. Amazing. Chu Xiang smiled. After being scolded for half the time, I got more benefits. And it's not just you. Although there are keyboard warriors online who hate the rich, there are also people who like the rich. When your wealth reaches a certain level and your character is not a problem, you'll be able to attract a portion of fans who admire you. We'll definitely gain more fans this time. And every time we're scolded, we'll clear it up very well. That means that we've gone through the test of the public again and again. Everyone's impression of us will get better and better. Feng Zhenxuan did not know what to praise anymore. He just gave her 2 thumbs up with both hands and handed her the milk tea. Come, I wish you the future queen of the entertainment industry. I'll be a knight by your side. I'll fight wherever you point me to and I promise to be obedient, okay? Okay, I'll drink it later. Let's get the benefits first. Chu Xiang lowered her head and quickly typed on the phone screen with both hands. Feng Zhenxuan's eyes flashed slightly. He handed the milk tea forward and said softly, I'll feed you. Chu Xiang saw the straw coming over and sucked 2 mouthfuls of milk tea. Feng Zhenxuan smiled and used a fork to pick up a piece of dragon fruit and handed it to Chu Xiang's mouth. You've worked hard. Eat something delicious to replenish your nutrition. Chu Xiang was very focused on talking to the people in the company about resources and ate it without paying much attention. Feng Zhenxuan silently moved closer to her and began his great task of feeding her. The smile on his face did not disappear for a long time. Chu Xiang talked to the company about not wanting to improve her treatment. She only hoped that the company could give Feng Zhenxuan a good role. At present, Feng Zhenxuan had no jobs after filming Extreme Mode and Love's Wish. As an actor, he still needed a good script. In the eyes of the company, she didn't want to improve her treatment in the company. She only wanted to make Feng Zhenxuan popular. Obviously, she was stimulated by Chen Lifeng again, and insisted on making Feng Zhenxuan popular. It would be best if he could surpass Chen Lifeng. The company understood her choice very well. Moreover, the company still had resources. According to the speed at which Feng Zhenxuan became popular during this period of time, giving him good resources was actually a win-win situation. The most important thing was that Chu Xiang didn't want the resources of the male lead. She wanted the second male lead in an urban drama, the role of the female lead's younger brother. Although this urban drama was one of the company's highlights this year, because Chu Xiang didn't want the male lead and Feng Zhenxuan's image was also very suitable for the role of the younger brother, the company agreed to give Feng Zhenxuan an opportunity to audition. Of course, in order to compensate Chu Xiang, even if Feng Zhenxuan didn't pass the audition, another role in the drama would be arranged for him. It might be the 4th male lead or the 5th male lead. Anyway, it was a good opportunity to show his face in a good drama. It was good for a newcomer like Feng Zhenxuan. This was the result that Chu Xiang wanted. She smiled with satisfaction. Then she called Chen Lifeng again. Just like last time, she didn't talk nonsense and directly asked for resources compensation. She wanted an endorsement from Chen Lifeng. Other endorsements might not be suitable for artists, but Chu Xiang wanted a watch endorsement. Chen Lifeng had been working with this ZX watch company for 3 years. Now that ZX had launched the Young Rao series of watches, they were lacking a young person to be the spokesperson of this series. If Chen Lifeng went, ZX would more or less give him face and consider it. He would have more opportunities than others. Chu Xiang liked this endorsement not only because she had a higher chance of getting it, but also because the abbreviation of this brand was the same as Zhenxuan's. It was very meaningful and fans would also like it. Anyway, if she could get this endorsement from Chen Lifeng, it would be a waste not to take advantage of it. When Chen Lifeng heard Chu Xiang asking him for resources so calmly, he suddenly didn't feel angry and anxious. He asked seriously, Xiang, have we really become enemies? Chu Xiang had long been used to the various confusing behaviors of scumbags. If scumbags weren't shameless, how could they be called scumbags? She had no interest in talking nonsense with scumbags at all. After she finished her request, she hung up the phone. Fang Zhenxuan couldn't help but say, "You used to be so good to him. He still thinks that you will let him take whatever he wants. So confident." Chu Xiang narrowed her eyes and looked at him. "Why do I feel that these words are sour? I am a lemon essence. What's wrong?" Fang Zhenxuan took a strawberry and handed it to Chu Xiang's lips. "Is he as good to you as I am to you?" Chu Xiang ate the strawberry smoothly. When her lips touched his fingertips, Fang Zhenxuan's ears suddenly turned red. Chu Xiang saw it, leaned closer to him and laughed. "What are you jealous about? Aren't I better to you? We are almost conjoined twins when we are together. Isn't that good enough?" "What?" Fang Zhenxuan had been leaning closer to her. Now that Chu Xiang took the initiative to approach him, he was nervous. He sat up quietly and stuttered a little. "Is there a limit to being good to others? Of course, it's getting better and better." Chu Xiang saw her reflection in his eyes, then looked at his nervous swallowing Adam's apple and red ears. She chuckled and sat back in her seat. She sent a WeChat message while saying, "Okay, I'm good to you. Go back and rest. I still have work tomorrow." Fang Zhenxuan blinked and frowned in confusion. "What are you laughing at?" When Chu Xiang approached just now, he almost thought that his thoughts had been discovered by Chu Xiang. In the end, Chu Xiang looked at him, laughed, and asked him to go back and rest. What did she mean? Did she not realize it, or did she realize it but didn't take it seriously? He couldn't help but say, "Don't treat me like a child. Although I'm a few years older than you, I'm more mature than my peers." Chu Xiang laughed when she heard his age. If it was age, she was already tens of thousands of years old. Who would care about age? However, when Fang Zhenxuan saw her laughing again, he felt that she really treated him like a child. After all, there was an 8-year gap. A 30-year-old person would think that a 22-year-old person was still a child, right? Fang Zhenxuan looked at Chu Xiang's fair side profile and red lips. For a moment, he really wanted to kiss her and let her know that he was gone. The relationship between them wasn't an adult and a child, but a man and a woman. Just as he was about to take action, Chu Xiang looked up. "Go and rest. I'm tired too. I want to have a beauty sleep. It's not easy to stay young and beautiful." "Oh, then I'll go back." They were going home to record a video during the break, so Fang Zhenxuan went home. He went home and closed the door. He leaned against the door panel, a little depressed. Xian had never seen him show such an expression. She ran down from the sofa with the remote control and looked up from Fang Zhenxuan's lap. "Uncle, what's wrong? Are you unhappy?" Fang Zhenxuan squatted down and rubbed the top of her head. "No, I just wanted to do something just now, but I didn't dare to do it. I'm a little upset." Xian immediately widened her eyes. I know. This is called having the heart but not the guts, right?" Fang Zhenxuan's face went blank. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "What? Where did you learn this?" Xian pointed at the TV with the remote control. "In the cartoon. It's so good. Uncle, do you want to watch it?" Xian, watch it. Uncle is going to take a shower. I'll play with you later." Fang Zhenxuan pinched Xian's face and carried her back to the sofa to the bedroom. He looked at the mirror, shook his head and sneered. "You really have the heart but not the guts." He took out his mobile phone and looked at it. Chu Xiang had sent him a WeChat voice message, telling him that the endorsement of the watch was 80% settled. She asked him to prepare for the audition of the urban drama. These two were his next jobs. He listened to the voice message several times like an idiot, and then went to take a shower happily. In the past few years of working, this was the first time he looked forward to work so much. As long as he worked, he could be with Chu Xiang. No matter how tired he was, he didn't seem to feel tired. Chu Xiang had already communicated with Chen Lifeng. Under the company's instructions, Chen Lifeng posted on Weibo in a very friendly manner, saying that Chu Xiang had never taken a penny more from him. As an agent, Chu Xiang had always been dutiful and had helped him a lot. She was his best partner, and the vampire was pure nonsense. He also congratulated Chu Xiang on her recent investment and made a lot of money. He also praised Chu Xiang in a joking tone, saying that she was a koi fish and could make a lot of money even by buying antiques. This was the document drafted by the company's public relations department. In order to show the harmonious relationship between the company's colleagues, the words were full of friendliness. As soon as he posted on Weibo, Fang Zhenxuan's fans rose up and went to control the comments on a large scale, clarifying that Chu Xiang had never taken Chen Lifeng's money and had never received such improper income. Those who scolded Chu Xiang continued to scold. Who would believe that Chen Lifeng and Chu Xiang invested in antiques? It was so easy to make money. Why didn't others do it? Even if there was no evidence, who didn't know how to do it? Didn't Chu Xiang post on Weibo and organize the information? Why didn't she say anything? Did she hide and think that this was the end of it? At this time, Chu Xiang also posted on Weibo. Thank you for your concern. Because I was rescued once, I especially enjoyed the joy of living. Of course, I have to have capital to enjoy, so I learned how to invest and buy antiques to manage my finances. Fortunately, I have made a lot of money. Thank you for your concern. In the future, when I find something delicious and fun, I will share it with everyone. Thank you for believing in me. Love you. Repost this Weibo and let you draw a prize. The prize is 2 ZX watches. There were a few pictures attached to the Weibo, clearly indicating that Chu Xiang had invested in a few companies, bought and sold antiques, jade pendants, and some stocks. In short, the knowledgeable people came out to prove that she had indeed made a lot of money. 200 million yuan was definitely there, and she was still making profits. She might make more in the future. What did it mean to make 200 million yuan in such a short time? It was really a shocking speed of making money. Moreover, Chu Xiang showed her tax payment certificate. There was no tax evasion, and she had donated a lot of money before. They didn't know what to say to her. It was so clear that she had a source of money. She almost died. So what if she was enjoying luxury now? She didn't steal or rob. What right did others have to gossip? On the contrary, many people saw that Chu Xiang was so good at making money and subconsciously worshipped her. Who didn't like the strong? Especially those who fought back from the bottom of the valley, were even more likable. There were also people who noticed Chen Lifeng's koi. That's right. Chu Xiang learned to invest and find antiques. She didn't do these things in the past. Now that she was so lucky to have made a lot of money, what was she if not a koi? When she took care of Chen Lifeng became popular. Now that she took care of Fang Zhenxuan, a newcomer, was equivalent to a B-list celebrity. Chu Xiang was definitely a koi. The direction of the internet had completely changed. Chu Xiang's amazing ability to make money and her title as a koi was stable. Moreover, everyone felt that she had a good personality. She was not anxious at all after being scolded several times. Every time she spoke, she felt very gentle. She was so beautiful. She was simply perfect. Because Chu Xiang's Weibo had a repost lottery, her popularity was high now. Her Weibo was reposted more than 200,000 times in a short time. Coincidentally, the person who was selected was a fan of Fang Zhenxuan, a loyal fan who had liked him from the beginning. After Chu Xiang asked for her address in a private message, she directly ordered 2 watches from the ZX Youth series, a male watch and a female watch, which totaled more than 6,000 yuan. She sent a screenshot to her. The fan who won the lottery was very happy. She was the first person to find out that the ZX abbreviation was the same as Zhenxuan's. She posted the screenshot of Chu Xiang's purchase and was excited that this was the best gift she had received in her life. She fell in love with the rich and inhumane Chu Xiang, daddy. In the future, she also wanted to be a fan of Chu Xiang and be a person with double responsibilities. Many fans and netizens expressed their envy. Because of this temporary lottery, Chu Xiang's clarification spread the greatest in the shortest time possible. She was completely unaffected by the previous scolding and completely shattered the rumors that she sucked Chen Lifeng's blood and had an improper source of money. Some people were puzzled. Why was Chu Xiang's prize for the lottery a ZX watch? Was it because ZX was the abbreviation of Jinchuan? If that was the case, then she was too spoiled. Or was it because Chu Xiang liked ZX's watch style? Why did Chu Xiang's other things cost tens of thousands of yuan, but she liked watches that cost 2 to 3,000 yuan? Was there something special about it? ZX had high-priced watches, but because the youth series was targeted at young people, the positioning was basically between 1,000 and 3,000 yuan. This was also the endorsement price that Fang Zhenxuan could win with his current fame. If it was too high, it would not drive sales and would have the opposite effect. After everyone was curious, they went to search for ZX watches. ZX had just seriously considered using Fang Zhenxuan as the spokesperson for the youth series because of Chen Lifeng's relationship. In the blink of an eye, they found that the number of searches for the youth series had increased a lot. This was a little goodwill from Chu Xiang. ZX also learned about Dezhun, the only brand that Fang Zhenxuan was currently endorsing. Dezhun's sales had increased significantly, and Fang Zhenxuan had taken the initiative to promote Dezhun all the time. He was a very responsible and effective spokesperson. This made ZX even more satisfied with Fang Zhenxuan. They would only make the final decision when they met. Chen Lifeng indulged in Liu's trap. In the end, he personally came out to clarify and took the initiative to be friendly. Needless to say, how sullen. In addition, he lost face to ask ZX for the endorsement of the youth series. The company punished him by redistributing resources to him. He also had to pay Chu Xiang's share of the profits in the past few years. This loss was too great. Now that Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan had a glorious ending on the internet, he suffered a double loss. He really felt that after leaving Chu Xiang, everything would not go smoothly. He himself inexplicably wondered if Chu Xiang was a coy. Otherwise, how could Chu Xiang do everything smoothly? The matter was resolved, and the company's employees began to talk freely. It had to be said that the news in the company spread very quickly. As long as the two neighbors knew the secret, then it was very likely that everyone would know. Chen Lifeng now had the image of a big scumbag in the hearts of the company's employees. It was not about feelings, but there was a problem with his character. Liu was not a good person either. In the past, it was fine if he dealt with outsiders, but now he actually dealt with his own people. Once this kind of vicious competition started, how could it be good? It was right to punish them. On the contrary, the company's people had a very good impression of Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan. These two people obviously did not want to offend others if they did not offend them. Moreover, they always considered the company's overall situation, and were very cooperative with the company's arrangements. They never caused trouble for the company. If everyone in the company was like Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan, their work would be much easier. The company was the backing of the agent and the artist. Everyone in the company was like a screw in a machine. They all played an important role. No matter how good an employee was, it was possible to become a helper at some point. There was a big difference between gaining their favor and being disliked by them. At this stage, Chu Xiang had succeeded in winning this stable backing step by step. Unlike the company in the beginning, which had to weigh whether to give up on her, the company now completely supported her, allowing her to work hard without any worries. This was the best state in the entertainment industry. Once the cornerstone was laid, would a tall building be far away? Chapter 218. Taking advantage of the one-day break, Chu Xiang took Fang Zhenxuan to sign the endorsement contract for the ZX Youth series. The other party did not particularly trust Fang Zhenxuan's ability to carry goods, and proposed to only sign for 1 year. Chu Xiang had no objections. 1 year was just right. If the other party wanted to sign Fang Zhenxuan next year, it would not be at this price. Then she accompanied Fang Zhenxuan back to the company to audition for the second male lead in the urban drama. And at the same time, she calculated how much money Chen Lifeng owed her. As soon as they entered the company, they met President Liang's secretary. The secretary took the elevator with them and looked at Chu Xiang in surprise. Chu Xiang, I haven't seen you for a while. You've become more beautiful. Did you change to new skincare products? What brand? Chu Xiang smiled. I bought it when I went to Paris with Zhenxuan to record Extreme Mode. It works well. I'm going to record Love's Wish tomorrow. I'll bring you a set to try. Okay, thank you. By the way, President Liang asked you to go to his office after you're done. Don't be afraid. You didn't do anything wrong this time. Okay, then I'll be there later. Thank you. Chu Xiang used to sit in the position of president, but she also knew how to get along with her colleagues in the company. It was not strange to be polite. Sometimes she could get one or two useful words, and the relationship was worth it. Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan arrived at the audition floor. When they went to say hello, the audition director's assistant also looked at Chu Xiang in surprise. Sister Xiang, you're so beautiful today. Your lipstick size is also right. What brand and color is it? Chu Xiang took out the lipstick from her bag and glanced at it. This doesn't seem to be sold in China. I'll bring you one later. Our skin color is similar, so it should look good. Okay, thank you, Sister Xiang. Can we add each other on WeChat? Of course. When Zhenxuan enters the cast in the future, please take care of him. That's for sure. Don't worry, Sister Xiang. The assistant added Chu Xiang on WeChat while reminding her. Xia Zhe came to audition for the role of the second male lead just now. The director is quite satisfied. Zhenxuan, you have to work hard. Fang Zhenxuan's expression changed slightly when he heard Xia Zhe's name. Chu Xiang noticed it, and thought that Fang Zhenxuan was stressed because of Xia Zhe's popularity. She comforted him. We are fully prepared. Don't think too much. Just show it naturally. If not, I'll find you other resources. The assistant said enviously, Sister Xiang, you really dote on your artists. It's such a blessing to be your artist. Chu Xiang joked. If you have any ideas, you can come to me. Ha, great. Fang Zhenxuan was pulled back from his thoughts by the assistant's words. His expression softened and he smiled. It is indeed a blessing to be Chu Xiang, so I will get this role. Chu Xiang, wait for my good news. I'm going in. Fang Zhenxuan straightened his clothes and walked into the audition hall at a leisurely pace. The assistant didn't notice that Fang Zhenxuan wasn't Chu Xiang's artist, but Chu Xiang's man. She teased Fang Zhenxuan that he didn't look like a newcomer at all, and had a good attitude. Chu Xiang looked at the closed door thoughtfully. Since she knew Fang Zhenxuan, she had never seen Fang Zhenxuan in a bad mood. What was the reason for that strange moment just now? They were fully prepared. Fang Zhenxuan shouldn't be nervous. Xia Zhe was Hong Yao's popular fried chicken. He was 26 years old this year. He debuted at the age of 18, and became popular at the age of 20. After that, he had been popular all the way until now. Because he could sing and dance, had a good-looking face and looked very young. He had a large number of fans and was very popular. However, 26 years old was a very delicate age for fresh meat. Younger fresh meat was rising and was very capable, such as Fang Zhenxuan. An idol like Xia Zhe, who was popular but didn't have any representative works, could be easily replaced, especially an idol like Xia Zhe with ordinary acting skills and a mediocre variety sense. He didn't have any songs that people were familiar with. The most important thing now was to find an opportunity to have a representative work. The male and female leads of this urban drama, and a few supporting roles were all capable actors. The script was well polished, and the investment was not bad. It was going to be a hit drama of the year. In order to have a good work, Xia Zhe was willing to play the second male lead this time. Chu Xiang learned from the assistant that Xia Zhe had taken the initiative to reduce his salary and hired a private teacher for the performance. It was obvious that he had put in a lot of effort. With Xia Zhe's popularity, there was no reason for the crew not to use him. He was a big threat to Fang Zhenxuan. Chu Xiang didn't like to fight battles that she wasn't sure of. The company wanted to compensate her with good intentions, but with Xia Zhe at the audition, they might not give her the second male lead. After all, Fang Zhenxuan had too few works so far, and his popularity couldn't be compared to Xia Zhe's. She went to Mr. Liang's office in advance and proposed the VM agreement to him. VM agreement? Mr. Liang put down the pen in his hand, leaned back in his office chair, and laughed. Chu Xiang, I already know what Chen Lifeng and Liu did. They did go a little too far, and the company will punish them accordingly. At present, you only have Fang Zhenxuan as a newcomer. I hope you won't be anxious because of some things and make irrational decisions. Chu Xiang smiled faintly and said, Mr. Liang, this is a decision I made after careful consideration. Please believe in my ability and Jinchuan's potential. Since I dare to propose it, I will definitely be able to achieve the goal. Oh, careful consideration? Mr. Liang was puzzled. VM agreements are rare in the industry. Only A-list artists with enough strength will enter into a VM agreement with the company to fight for more resources for themselves, accumulate better qualifications, and earn more money. As far as I know, Fang Jinchuan's 2 endorsements, 1 variety show, and 1 TV series are not very profitable. I'm afraid he doesn't have the capital to bet. Chu Xiang shrugged. How long has it been since he debuted? To have such resources and income, he has already beaten all the artists at the same stage. Mr. Liang, let's set a limit of 2 years. Fang Jinchuan will definitely far surpass Xia Zhe and bring huge benefits to the company. I will make his value increase tenfold, and I also hope the company can match him with high-quality resources. Mr. Liang smiled. So it's because of Xia Zhe. You knew he came for the audition? Yes, they just discussed Xia Zhe's situation and thought that he was very suitable for the project. Turning. Chu Xiang, aren't you a little too hasty? Xia Zhe became popular 2 years after his debut. His popularity is already very fast. His current popularity is also the result of a few years of development. Fang Jinchuan has just debuted. You can take it slow. Don't be anxious. Chu Xiang shook her head, took out her tablet, and opened a new document. While typing on it, she explained to Mr. Liang how she wanted to make Fang Jinchuan popular in 2 years. TV dramas, movies, advertising endorsements, variety shows, New Year's Eve parties, overseas markets, fashion resources, and so on. Not only did she mention the types, brands, and profits of various resources, but she also mentioned how she wanted to obtain these resources. Of course, the method was not too detailed. After all, this was something she had to do with her methods. However, she had already revealed enough information to let Mr. Liang know that she was not joking. She had a complete and implementable plan that could make Fang Jinchuan's value increase tenfold, or even more. At first, Mr. Liang did not think much of it, but later, he gradually listened seriously. When Chu Xiang finished the entire plan and proposed the VM, he suddenly had an illusion that Chu Xiang should not be a manager at all, but a business powerhouse who negotiated in the business world. The VM was a fixed amount for both parties. Fang Jinchuan had to earn these benefits for the company within 2 years, and the excess would belong to him. If he did not reach the stipulated amount, Fang Jinchuan would make up for the shortfall. Whether it was completed or not, the company would not lose out. Fang Jinchuan was the one who gambled, fought and took the risk. Mr. Liang pondered for a moment and said, Does Fang Jinchuan know about this? I thought of this after he went in for the audition. I haven't told him yet, but I believe that he will agree with all my decisions. Mr. Liang looked at Chu Xiang's confident and indifferent expression, and shook his head with a smile. You've already thought about it carefully. I thought you had thought about it for a long time. It turns out that you came up with this idea at the last minute downstairs. He glanced at the tablet and could not help but praise. I have to praise you. You're a talent. You can come up with such a perfect plan in such a short time. It's also clear and feasible. However, do you really want to take such a big risk? It's just the second male lead in a drama. You've already gotten the male lead in a lawyer drama. Do you have to be so persistent? Mr. Liang, we shouldn't miss any suitable opportunity. The lawyer drama is still in the preparation stage, but Turning is about to start shooting. Fang Jinchuan has the potential. Of course, we have to get every one of them. Moreover, in the face of enough strength, the risk is completely negligible. Chu Xiang smiled. Mr. Liang, I also proposed the VM agreement because I trust the company. Our stars doesn't have an idol artist of the same type and level as Xia Zhe. It won't be long before I let Jinchuan be on equal footing with him, and then surpass him. Also, Chun Lifeng may leave after the contract expires in half a year. Jinchuan's rise can make up for some of the losses. This is a strategic action. Jinchuan and I will work hard and live up to the company's kindness. I hope Mr. Liang can seriously consider it. Mr. Liang laughed and reached out to point at her. You people change their personality when they encounter big things. I think you're getting more and more capable and stronger. He pressed the internal line and asked the secretary to call Fang Zhenxuan over. He asked Chu Xiang to explain the contents of the VM agreement to Fang Zhenxuan and asked Fang Zhenxuan's opinion in person. He previously learned that Fang Zhenxuan's family background was average, and he owed Chu Xiang a lot of money. He thought that Fang Zhenxuan would hesitate no matter what. Unexpectedly, Fang Zhenxuan nodded without hesitation after hearing Chu Xiang's words. Mr. Liang, I have no objections. I believe in Chu Xiang's decision. I will also work hard to complete this agreement. Please trust us. Mr. Liang was slightly surprised. As expected of the best partner, this trust is worthy of praise. He thought for a moment. Okay, you guys go back first. I'll think about it. Chu Xiang, make a formal proposal for me. It's more detailed. Okay, thank you, Mr. Liang, for being willing to give us this opportunity. We will definitely not let you down. Chu Xiang stood up and shook hands with Mr. Liang. Suddenly, she remembered that the secretary asked her to find Mr. Liang. She asked, Did Mr. Liang ask me to come over after I'm done? Is there anything you want me to do? Mr. Liang waved his hand and smiled. I originally wanted to talk to you to calm down and not compete with Chen Lifeng. I wanted you to be more stable. Who knew that you would come up with a bigger plan? Okay, I know that you guys are rushing up like you're on steroids. The company has no reason to stop you. As long as you don't make any mistakes, do whatever you're confident in. The company will support you. Thank you, Mr. Liang. Chu Xiang could tell from Mr. Liang's attitude that he had most likely agreed to the VM agreement. She was in a good mood and left the company with Fang Zhenxuan. Perhaps it was because she had been using Chinese medicine to nurse her body. Many people in the company praised her for becoming more beautiful, which made her feel even better. Fang Zhenxuan smiled. Do you like being praised so much? Then should I praise you every time I'm by your side? Sure, let's hear it first. Chu Xiang got into the car and lowered her head to fasten her seatbelt. Fang Zhenxuan said without thinking, There's still time now. Do you want to go shopping? You're so beautiful. Don't you want to wear more beautiful clothes? If those clothes didn't meet you, they might not have the chance to show their beauty. Chu Xiang touched her arms and looked up. So mushy. Fang Yuan and Lin snickered in the back seat. Fang Zhenxuan also smiled and fastened his seatbelt. So what if it's mushy? I'm telling the truth. Fang Zhenxuan turned his face and leaned toward Chu Xiang. Boss, you gave me a huge task just now. Shouldn't you give me some compensation? Chu Xiang turned her face, and the distance between the two was very close. She asked naturally, What compensation do you want? Fang Zhenxuan's hands, which were by his side, unconsciously pinched his pants. With a relaxed expression, he said, Take me to a fun place to relax during the break, or play with Xinxin and me. Find something interesting to do to pass the time. You see, I'm working so hard and under so much pressure. Shouldn't you pay more attention to me and help me relax? Fang Yuan and Lin lowered their heads and pretended to look at their phones. From time to time, they would glance in front of them. They felt a little strange. Chu Xiang smiled and agreed. Okay, let's go out and play during the break. Chu Xiang returned home and sent the complete and detailed plan to Mr. Liang's email. This meticulously organized plan was even better than what she had explained in the office. Anyone who saw it would be tempted. For Mr. Liang, this was a project that could bring huge benefits to the company. A good project was certainly worth investing in. As for the second male lead of Turning, although Xiaoze's popularity was high, Fang Zhenxuan's performance in the audition was very good. He was very natural in playing the role of the second male lead, which was very good for the show's reputation. Coupled with the VM agreement and the fact that Fang Zhenxuan's popularity would increase before the broadcast of Turning finished filming, this role was more suitable for Fang Zhenxuan. Mr. Liang had to think carefully, so this decision was not disclosed to anyone for the time being. Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan quickly flew to Paris to film Love's Wish, and were the flying guests for the first episode. Love's Wish was about 4 couples traveling to different cities. Each time they went on a trip, they would make a wish and fulfill it together. Traveling was a good way to test a couple's relationship. When two people went out together, they would really encounter a lot of problems that needed to be solved. Even the best couple might have some friction, be in a bad mood, or even quarrel. These and the sweetness of love were the highlights of this show. The ratings were quite good. In the 12 episodes of the season, the 6th episode was about 4 girls traveling together like best friends to Paris. It brought some beautiful visual feast to the audience. At the same time, it changed the mood of the audience who had watched too many couples. It was actually very interesting to watch the entertainment between best friends and let the girls talk about their relationships and boyfriends. This time, the producers added a super handsome guy like Fang Zhenxuan, which undoubtedly added to the show's highlights. When Fang Zhenxuan met them at the airport, he took the initiative to help them with the gifts, find restaurants to order food, and lead the way to the boarding gate. They didn't have to worry about anything. Chu Xiang also accompanied them. She couldn't appear on camera, and had been with the staff the whole time. However, she had always liked to be beautiful. Even if she stood in the crowded staff, she could still be seen at a glance. She was more eye-catching than those female artists and received a lot of attention at the airport. Zhou Yuan had always felt that she took better care of herself than Chu Xiang, who knew that she would be defeated by Chu Xiang as soon as they met. Just by looking at the rate of Lu Rao's head turning, she knew that Chu Xiang was in a better state than her. She couldn't help but feel jealous and disgusted in her heart, and she began to make things difficult for Fang Zhenxuan. For example, when Fang Zhenxuan took care of them carefully, she said jokingly, "Zhenxuan is so considerate. Have you really never been in love?" Most boys who had never been in love were straight men, and fans also liked their style. If they were too gentle and considerate, which girl would they be considerate to? The fans wouldn't accept it. However, Fang Zhenxuan easily resolved it with a joking response. "How can a boy who has been in love be as considerate as me? I'm the one who raised my niece myself. Sisters, believe me, men who have raised girls before are the most considerate. They're really afraid that they'll fall in their hands and melt in their mouths." The other 3 female artists laughed when they heard this. One of them even thought about it seriously. "When I get married in the future, I must have a son. Then, there will be one more person to dote on me. I don't want a soft and cuter daughter to compete with me for favor." This sentence made everyone laugh and cleverly changed the topic from love to other places. Zhou Yuan wanted to make things difficult for Fang Zhenxuan again, but she was someone who had been in the entertainment industry for 20 years. She knew that she would only be at a disadvantage if she was too obvious. She suppressed her displeasure and smiled without saying anything else. When the group arrived at their residence, they found that the production team had only given them a little money to settle a series of activities such as eating, taking photos, checking in at scenic spots, shopping, and so on. They wanted the show to be good. Of course, they wanted every activity to be wonderful, but not having enough money to spend was a big problem. If they couldn't afford to eat well, it would give people a very low feeling. Several girls suddenly became a little unhappy. Even the joy of traveling to Paris was gone. Zhou Yuan found another opportunity to joke. "Hey, don't sigh. Don't we have an omnipotent helper this time? Zhenxuan, you've been so resourceful all the way. How about it? Do you have an immortal plan this time?" She was good-looking with a round face. Her smile was indeed full of kindness, as if she was really just joking. But if Fang Zhenxuan couldn't solve this problem, and if the show wasn't good, it would inevitably make people feel that this helper was too superfluous. It was simply forced in. Fang Zhenxuan was originally forced in by Chu Xiang through her connections. Although the producer weighed the pros and cons and thought that Fang Zhenxuan was very suitable, Zhou Yuan didn't think so. She even felt that Fang Zhenxuan's cleverness and sense of variety in extreme mode were scripted. She was very unwilling to give such a good resource to Chu Xiang's people. Now that Chu Xiang dared to send Fang Zhenxuan to her, she couldn't let Fang Zhenxuan shine in her show at all. The 3 girls in the group were well aware of the relationship between them, but they had nothing to do with either side. Of course, they wouldn't help either side. Hearing Zhou Yuan's words, they all looked at Fang Zhenxuan and didn't want to participate in the lawsuit. Fang Zhenxuan seemed to be thinking hard, but in fact his eyes met with Chu Xiang, who was standing among the staff. Chu Xiang nodded at him. He patted his knees and sat up straight. How about this? I'll see if I can buy some cheap and delicious food. We won't go out to eat. I'll cook for you today. Zhou Yuan showed a look of pity. Ah, you don't want to eat French food? Then she smiled cleverly. That's fine. People like me who don't know how to cook have no right to speak. Haha, I'll eat whatever there is. She made it sound like she was very straightforward, but she didn't miss out on anything. If they didn't eat French food while traveling in France, what was the point of cooking home-cooked food? Even the staff of the program felt a little regretful about this choice. Feng Zhenxuan smiled. How can that be? Not only do we have to eat French food in Paris, but we also have to experience the local customs and fashion. Otherwise, we'll have come for nothing. But we don't have money now, so we have to think of a way first. My cooking skills are not bad. How about this? I'll try to cook something later, and see if I can get some money from the neighbors. Then we'll make a plan. Taking photos is easy. How can we not know how to take photos? We can borrow a camera and take photos ourselves. We can help each other do makeup and style. Isn't it more interesting than the sisters' usual makeup live streams? Take photos ourselves, do makeup and style ourselves? The four girls looked at each other. But since Feng Zhenxuan had already done so, if they didn't agree, wouldn't it mean that they didn't trust their own standards? After thinking about it carefully, it seemed to be quite fun, so they all agreed. After reaching an agreement, Feng Zhenxuan took the initiative to ask for money to go out and buy groceries. He asked them to stay at the homestay to rest and wait for him to come back to do the work. Feng Zhenxuan went out and discussed with the neighbors for a while. Then he took a neighbor's car to the supermarket to buy groceries, followed by two cameramen. Zhou Yuan returned to her room and suddenly thought that this wasn't right. Feng Zhenxuan had unknowingly taken on a lot of things. Buying groceries in the supermarket, communicating with neighbors, cooking, exchanging money. Weren't these all shots? And they couldn't be cut out. She didn't want Feng Zhenxuan to stand out, but in the end, she gave Feng Zhenxuan a chance to appear on camera. She remembered that in the 5 episodes that she had recorded before, her team thought that her performance was average, and that she didn't have a strong sense of variety. Among the 4 girls, she might be ranked 3rd. At least in this episode, she couldn't lose to Feng Zhenxuan, right? She and Chen Lifeng couldn't always be suppressed by Chu Xiang's people. Zhou Yuan pretended to be very tired, and lay on the bed for a while. Then, she went to the kitchen and began to wash the tableware. A girl heard the movement and came out and asked, "Why are you washing the tableware now?" Zhou Yuan smiled. "Zhenxuan is going to cook later. I don't know how to cook, so I'll help clean it. By the way, should we play something after dinner? How about a truth lottery tube? Okay. There should be some in the guest house. I'll find it." There were all kinds of stimulating and sensitive questions in the truth lottery tube, which was most suitable for their show. She had been in the entertainment industry for 20 years. Answering questions according to the situation was her strength. She could make up suitable answers without changing her expression. Feng Zhenxuan was a newcomer. He would definitely answer 1 or 2 wrong questions when encountering endless questions. Zhou Yuan sneered in her heart. She didn't believe that Feng Zhenxuan wouldn't fail. If something went wrong, Chu Xiang would offend the producer and directly cut off one of her connections. The 4 girls got along very well in the guest house. When Feng Zhenxuan was shopping, he also developed a good friendship with the neighbors in a fluent foreign language. The neighbors introduced a lot of cheap and delicious dishes to him. On the way, they also taught him a particularly simple and delicious French home-cooked dish under Feng Zhenxuan's inquiry. Feng Zhenxuan and he agreed to exchange 2 dishes to taste at dinner, so they went back to the guest house with a big bag of vegetables. Zhou Yuan looked up and saw him carrying a lot of things, so she deliberately said, "Zhenxuan, you bought so many things?" Others also looked over when they heard it. "Ah, so many. Well, Zhenxuan, did you spend all the money?" Feng Zhenxuan smiled. "How is that possible? You also think that there are a lot of things, right? Thanks to the help of the big brother next door, these things only cost a little money. It still needs to be carried by the locals, so that they won't be wasted. Well, I'm going to cook. Sisters, Watch TV and wait for a while. I'm sorry. Let's help you. Zhou Yuan also said, yes, I can't cook, but I can help. I have already washed these tableware. What else can I do? Feng Zhenxuan looked at the tableware in the kitchen and smiled. Thank you, Sister Zhou Yuan. Then Sister Zhou Yuan, help me choose the beans. This is simple. You can choose while watching TV. After that, he put the ingredients in the refrigerator and asked the other 3 girls to help peel the potatoes, cut the meat, and cut the onion. Zhou Yuan wanted to find an excuse to refuse, but she didn't have a chance. She looked again and found that it was indeed much easier to choose beans than the 3 girls. She had to take a pot of beans to the coffee table to choose. Chu Xiang raised the corner of her lips when she saw this. Choosing beans was very simple, but it was too difficult for a girl who had never cooked and had beautiful nails. Zhou Yuan picked up a bean and broke both ends. She pinched it hard but couldn't break it. If she used too much strength, her nails would feel uncomfortable. Moreover, she accidentally broke off a large piece of the bean. She couldn't control the strength. After pinching for a while, her nails had begun to hurt. Looking at the pot of beans that she had only picked out a little, and the rest after a long time, she felt that her vision was turning black. Just when she wanted to find an excuse to refuse, Feng Zhenxuan suddenly raised his head. Sister Zhou Yuan, is it difficult? Why don't you leave it? I'll do it later. 2 of the 4 girls didn't know how to cook. Zhou Yuan saw another girl who didn't know how to peel potatoes and the other 2 who knew how to cut things very well. She was the only one who didn't know how to cook. If she gave up at this time, wouldn't it mean that she didn't even know how to choose beans? Moreover, she had taken the initiative to help before. Wouldn't giving up now be slapping her own face? She could only smile. You do your thing. I'll be done soon. When Zhou Yuan slowly finished the beans, Feng Zhenxuan had already prepared a lot of dishes. In contrast, she looked very stupid. Zhou Yuan had a hard time maintaining the smile on her face. The main reason was that she didn't know how to use skillful strength. She completely broke the tips of the beans with brute force. After pinching a pot of beans, her nails hurt more and more. When she brought the beans over, Feng Zhenxuan, who was washing the beans, was obviously stunned. Then he smiled and said, You don't have to pinch so many. We have to save some ingredients. Zhou Yuan knew that his words were also sarcastic, but she couldn't say anything. She only smiled and said, It's my first time choosing beans. I didn't do well. It's okay. My first time choosing beans wasn't as good as yours. Feng Zhenxuan's expression was normal, as if hinting that she was wasting ingredients was just a casual remark. Zhou Yuan put down her hands and was about to leave when Feng Zhenxuan said, I forgot to peel the garlic. The pot is already hot. Sisters, can one of you peel it for me empty-handed? Zhou Yuan looked up and saw that they were all working. She was the only one who was empty-handed. She couldn't help but glance at Feng Zhenxuan. He did it on purpose, right? But on the surface, she could only smile. I'll do it. She took a head of garlic and broke it open with great effort. Her painful nails were touched again, and it hurt even more. She didn't know what was wrong with the garlic skin. It was as if it grew on the garlic and stuck very tightly. When she peeled the skin, it broke. She had to peel off the remaining skin. When she peeled it, it broke again, and she had to peel it again. She tore half of the garlic and didn't finish peeling it. Her nails even scratched the garlic. Feng Zhenxuan urged, Sister Zhou Yuan, is the garlic ready? Not yet. Zhou Yuan was annoyed. She exerted force in her hand, and the garlic fell to the ground. She threw the garlic away with an annoyed expression, and took another piece. Sorry, I'll peel it again. Feng Zhenxuan wiped his hands and walked over. Sister Zhou Yuan, you've worked hard. Let me do it. Feng Zhenxuan took the garlic and twisted it on both sides. He easily separated the garlic skin from the garlic, and pulled it off. After peeling a few cloves of garlic and cutting them, he directly took them to cook. There was smoke in the kitchen. He said, Sisters, you've helped a lot. Go and rest. It'll be ready soon. The girls laughed and washed their hands to sit on the sofa in the living room. Zhou Yuan went back to her room to tie her hair, because her nails hurt. She was in a bad mood. When she went back to her room, She didn't notice that her fingers touched her eyes. In a few seconds, her eyes burned uncomfortably and tears flowed out. She quickly wiped her tears. Then she remembered that her hands had just touched the garlic. No wonder her eyes were crying. She quickly walked into the bathroom. The producer, Sister Qing, and Chu Xiang were friends. This time, she was afraid that Chu Xiang and Zhou Yuan would make trouble when they met, so she also came and chatted with Chu Xiang. At this moment, she saw Zhou Yuan crying from the screen. Because of the angle, it looked like Zhou Yuan was crying. She couldn't help but look at Chu Xiang. She happened to meet Chu Xiang's eyes. Chu Xiang winked at her, smiled and mouthed, "Hot search." Sister Qing chuckled and whispered, "When did you become so bad?" Chu Xiang shrugged. "What do you think?" "You're right. The most important thing for the show was popularity. Otherwise, it was uncertain whether the next season would be filmed. It was the most common thing to edit the preview of the next episode. The preview seemed to be contradictory, but in fact, the show was very harmonious. It was the usual method of the show. The scene of Zhou Yuan crying could be used as the highlight of the preview. Anyway, when the show aired, it would be known that she was spicy. Chu Xiang looked at Fang Zhenxuan, who was cooking seriously, and smiled slightly. This bad guy was standing up for her. And he was so bad that there was no trace of it. Zhou Yuan wanted to trip Fang Zhenxuan up, but she was still too inexperienced. When Fang Zhenxuan finished cooking, the girls all felt hungry. There was no other reason. The smell of the dishes that kept coming out of the kitchen was too fragrant. The girls all went to serve the dishes. "Quick, set them up and take a picture. Zhenxuan's cooking is really good." "Hey, wait." Fang Zhenxuan stopped them and picked up 2 dishes. "This is my gift to the neighbor." Zhou Yuan had been looking for an opportunity to turn the tables. Before he finished, she said in surprise, "Ah, you want to give it to someone else? Are you thanking him for his help today?" Fang Zhenxuan smiled and said, I was wrong. It's not a gift, it's an exchange." "Exchange?" "Yes, sisters, don't you want to eat French food? I've made a deal with my brother. We'll exchange 2 dishes at dinner. I'll treat him to authentic Chinese food, and he'll treat us to authentic French food. By the way, I also want this dish. This is the French dish I learned from the neighbor on the way. It's my first time cooking it, so I don't know if it's delicious. Later, sisters, please give me the honor of commenting. As for me, this looks different from others. You actually learned to cook a dish on the way? It looks delicious. I'll go to exchange the dishes first. When I come back, we'll have dinner. Sisters, set the table first." Fang Zhenxuan put the dishes on the plate and went next door. He and his neighbor exchanged dinner in a friendly manner. Of course, there must be a camera. Sister Qing nodded with satisfaction and said to Chu Xiang, "You're a good artist. You're very good at taking the initiative to create a variety effect, and you can control any situation. Of course, don't you know who he is?" Chu Xiang raised her eyebrows. She personally guided him. If he didn't have a strong sense of variety, she wouldn't have let him be a flying guest. Sister Qing laughed. "You've brought the right person. Now you can hold your head high." When Fang Zhenxuan came back, there were a total of 6 dishes. 3 of them were French dishes, and each plate looked very delicate and beautiful. This first meal in France was not low at all. On the contrary, it was very interesting and meaningful. The friendly exchange with the neighbors also brought him a lot of good fortune. The few of them surrounded the table and took a few photos before they started eating. Zhou Yuan was reserved and didn't want to eat too much, but the other 3 girls praised Fang Zhenxuan unabashedly. From the speed at which they ate the ingredients and their expressions, one could tell how good Fang Zhenxuan's cooking was. In particular, the new French dish that Fang Zhenxuan learned was the first empty plate. This was the best proof that Fang Zhenxuan really learned a very delicious French dish in such a short time on the way. Over the course of a day, Zhou Yuan was defeated again and again, and Chu Xiang had seen it all. She was very unhappy. When everyone was almost done eating, it was finally time to play the truth lottery. Only then did Zhou Yuan show a sincere smile. She took out the wooden stick in the lottery and glanced at it, and said with bad intentions, "The original questions in this lottery are too fixed. It's not interesting. How about we each write a few questions and put them in?" Fang Zhenxuan smiled and said, "Okay, I haven't played yet." Chapter 219. Everyone was in the entertainment industry, so they were not afraid of truth or dare at all. They knew what to say, whether to cry or to laugh. It was impossible for them to make a fool of themselves. This was really entertainment for them. However, it was true that it was Fang Zhenxuan's first time playing. When the other three girls heard Zhou Yuan's suggestion, they felt that she was targeting Fang Zhenxuan. After watching the big show scene by scene, they had a much better impression of Chu Xiang than Zhou Yuan. They couldn't find any reason for Zhou Yuan to find fault with her. Moreover, Zhou Yuan was a senior who had debuted for 20 years. If she made things difficult for a newcomer who had just debuted, wouldn't she be degrading herself? However, when they looked at the indifferent Fang Zhenxuan, no one said much. They only joked, "Don't write too many questions. Leave a way out today so that we can meet again in the future." They took a piece of paper of the same size, each wrote a few questions, folded them, and put them into the lottery cylinder. Then they began to use scissors, paper, scissors, and whoever lost would draw lots to answer the question. Fang Zhenxuan glanced at their expressions and looked at their hands. He made a gesture with a natural expression. "The first one to lose." Zhou Yuan smiled and said, "It's actually Zhenxuan? Zhenxuan is the only one here who hasn't fallen in love, right? I don't know what question he will draw." Fang Zhenxuan picked up the lottery cylinder and shook it hard, shaking out a piece of paper. Zhou Yuan was a little disappointed when she found that it was not written by her. Then she heard Fang Zhenxuan read out the question. "What is the most beautiful words of love you have heard in the past year?" The girls immediately laughed out loud. Zhou Yuan asked with a smile, "Hey Zhenxuan, how are you going to answer this? Have you been in love in the past year? It's okay to fall in love before your debut. Don't be afraid. Come out." Fang Zhenxuan said regretfully, "I want to, but I'm busy studying, working, and taking care of my niece. Which girl is willing to fall in love with me? I'm still single from my mother's womb. I can't answer this question." A girl smiled and said, "Don't make things difficult for your brother. How about this? Change it to the most beautiful words you have heard in the past year. Anyone can say it, as long as it's the kind that you really feel." Fang Zhenxuan thought about it seriously and smiled. "Actually, there are quite a lot, but there is one sentence that is the most precious. It was said by my agent to me. She said, 'Are you willing to sign a contract with me and be my artist?' This sentence changed my life." Every artist had heard this sentence before, and no one felt that it was special. When they heard Fang Zhenxuan's words, they were all stunned. Even the staff couldn't help but glance at Chu Xiang. A girl asked curiously, "You guys seem to have known each other for a long time?" The girl felt a little regretful after saying that. She quickly glanced at Zhou Yuan and felt that she shouldn't have continued this topic. Back then, Stars had officially announced that Fang Zhenxuan would be Chu Xiang's artist. It was because Chun Lifeng and Chu Xiang had fallen out, and Zhou Yuan had been treated as a mistress. There was a lot going on here. She was stepping on a landmine by asking this question. Sure enough, Fang Zhenxuan's answer made her regret even more. "We met when she was sent to the hospital for emergency treatment, but I saw her when I went to Stars Entertainment for an interview. I think I'm quite lucky. If I didn't meet her there, no one would know me now." Fang Zhenxuan took a sip of juice, and his attitude was natural as if he was chatting casually. However, his words aroused the curiosity of the girls. Zhou Yuan didn't believe him at all, and couldn't help but ask, "Then you guys signed a contract the moment you met? This is really rare." Fang Zhenxuan smiled. "I guess it's because I was the first person she saw when she came back from the gates of hell. After knowing her for so long, I finally understood that she was someone who looked at faces. Not only did she want herself to be beautiful, but she also wanted me to dress up nicely. She wanted me to be pleasing to the eyes. She also said that there were many people with good character, but there were too few who were good-looking. She told me to work hard and strive to conquer the world with my face." Fang Zhenxuan laughed out loud. The girls were also amused by him, and they all breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. It wasn't appropriate to continue talking about Chu Xiang's rescue. Feng Zhenxuan changed the topic to looking at faces, and the atmosphere suddenly relaxed. They looked at Feng Zhenxuan again, and found that they were all looking at him. The rhythm of the game was completely under his control. Zhou Yuan could only laugh in this atmosphere. Her laugh was flawless, but she was extremely angry in her heart. She could almost imagine how the netizens would bring up the old matter again when the program was broadcasted, and scold her and Chen Lifeng again. This Feng Zhenxuan was really gutless. He actually tripped her up in public. She smiled and called out to everyone, "Let's play again. It's more interesting to play this kind of game a few more times." Zhou Yuan lost another round. When she shook the lottery cylinder, she didn't manage to shake it halfway. Feng Zhenxuan took the initiative to take over the job. "I'll be in charge of shaking the lottery cylinder. Anyway, whichever card is shaken out counts." Then he took the lottery cylinder and turned it without a trace. He shook it hard, and a card fell out. It was one of the cards he had written. "Are you willing to sacrifice everything for your current lover, including your life?" Even though Zhou Yuan boasted that she had been in the entertainment industry for 20 years and could easily deal with any situation, she couldn't help but stiffen when she saw this question. A teenage girl could simply say, "I do." Other people wouldn't say anything and would even laugh and say that the girl was so cute. But she was 30 years old. If she said "I do," she would definitely be regarded as a love-struck fool. She and Chen Lifeng had only been together for a few months. She was willing to sacrifice her life just like that? Wasn't it a little too fake? But if she said "I don't do it," they had been working hard to show their love on this program. This "I don't do it" was likely to cause the audience to be unhappy. Most importantly, it would make the couple fans that they had attracted in this program angry. Zhou Yuan smiled and seemed to be thinking, "How can this be?" The other girls also nodded and said, "This question is not easy to answer." Zhou Yuan smiled again. "I've never thought about this question. After all, my life is quite stable and happy. You guys are too evil. Who came up with this question?" Feng Zhenxuan raised his hand and smiled. "It's me. Is this question difficult? I'm sorry, I thought it was a simple question. Please forgive me. I haven't been in a relationship before. In this aspect, I might have thought too simply." Zhou Yuan asked. "Then you feel that you can sacrifice everything for love, including life? Is that true?" "Yes." Feng Zhenxuan nodded matter-of-factly. "I feel that love is not a necessity in life. But if I have a lover, then I will definitely confess and be with her because I love her very, very much. Then, whether it is out of love or out of responsibility, I will be willing to sacrifice everything for her." The three girls thought for a moment and nodded. "You're right." In this way, it immediately made Zhou Yuan's previous hesitation seem heartless. Actually, it was normal to hesitate on this issue. But what Feng Zhenxuan said about being together because he loved her very, very much, and being willing to sacrifice out of love and responsibility really made sense. If he didn't love her that much, why would he want to be together? Just make do with it? Since he loved her so much, why couldn't he sacrifice everything? Love was not something that was cheap and easy to obtain. Moreover, there was also responsibility. To be able to become a lover, if he couldn't trust her completely, then the word lover would be a little sad. Sometimes, it felt like this. Whichever side was more acceptable, people would be more willing to support that side's argument. Feng Zhenxuan's words easily roasted Zhou Yuan on the fire. Although the three girls also knew that this question was not easy to answer, they looked more like they were helping Zhou Yuan out of her predicament. They would not be targeted at all. There was only one person who would be disliked by the audience in this segment, and that was Zhou Yuan, who hesitated to answer. Did she really love Chen Lifeng? If she didn't love him enough, why did they mention that they wanted to get married in the first 2 episodes? In reality, people watched this kind of variety show because they wanted to see a beautiful love. If the beautiful halo was removed, then what was the point of this couple? Zhou Yuan racked her brains to think about how to save the situation, but Feng Zhenxuan said, "Do you want to play the next round? This is quite fun." Okay, let's play the next round." Seeing Zhou Yuan's embarrassment, the girls smiled and helped her out. As a result, Zhou Yuan lost the chance to save the situation. Sister Qing whispered to Chu Xiang, "Your handsome guy is also a fox. He kills people without spilling blood. Amazing." Chu Xiang also whispered back, "Of course, if he didn't enter the entertainment industry, he would definitely be a famous general in the lawyer's field." Yo, look at how smug you are. You're someone who's standing up for you now. But remember to remind him not to go overboard. It's not easy to offend people. Don't worry, he knows what to do. Feng Zhenxuan did know what to do in front of the camera. He knew that going too far was as bad as not going far enough. But he didn't let go of the opportunity to make a fool of Zhou Yuan. In the next few rounds, everyone lost. Feng Zhenxuan was in charge of shaking the lottery machine. Almost all the questions were written by the three girls. They asked if the ex could still be friends, how long she had known her boyfriend, and how long she had known him. These questions didn't touch the thunder at all. But when it was Zhou Yuan's turn, Feng Zhenxuan shook out his own questions. How often did he plan to meet his in-laws after marriage? How to maintain a good relationship? Did he want to have a boy or a girl, or be a dink? The girls who had lived with him were the most unacceptable habits. The age of first love. Feng Zhenxuan studied law, so he was most clear about disputes between people. He was very clear about what kind of conflicts could easily arise between people, and what kind of conflicts could easily lead to disputes. And these questions further shattered Zhou Yuan's star halo, turning her image in the eyes of the audience into an ordinary woman who was troubled by realistic problems. If the audience liked ordinary people to look at themselves, why would they watch TV? Celebrities could be close to life, but they had to be cute to attract fans. If they were too realistic and made people think of more realistic problems, they wouldn't be liked. In particular, the audience of love variety shows were basically women. None of the questions written by Feng Zhenxuan could be perfunctory. This was especially so when it came to girls who shared a room. Everyone had a roommate and had experienced this before. If Zhou Yuan did not have this, it would be too fake. However, if she exposed her weakness, even if she did not name anyone, the audience would not like her. They would even try to guess who she was. Zhou Yuan would have unknowingly offended the audience and the people who shared a room with her. There was also the age of first love. Zhou Yuan hadn't made her relationship public before, but she was a child star and had been watched as she grew up. If she lied now, what if her first love was exposed in the future? She would become a liar. So she could only tell the truth. Her first love was at the age of 18. Although she was an adult now, everyone's impression of her at the age of 18 was that of a pure girl. Now it more or less felt like her image had collapsed. After these questions, the audience would only think that there was nothing sweet between her and Chen Lifeng. They were just an ordinary couple like everyone else. Zhou Yuan was angry, but the image she created in the circle was gentle and kind. She couldn't lose her temper and leave in public. She simply proposed to play a few more rounds and drag Feng Zhenxuan down. And this time, she shook the lottery machine herself. Feng Zhenxuan was very cooperative and lost a few times. The first question he drew was, "What does your dream lover look like?" Feng Zhenxuan, "My schedule is very full now, and I don't have a dream lover yet." Without waiting for the girls to protest, he said, "But if I admire any kind of girl, it has to be my agent. She is beautiful, kind, has strong work ability, is protective of her shortcomings, and always thinks of her artists. Most importantly, she is a person who looks at faces. I think that if I take good care of my face, I should be able to be favored for a long time. She will definitely always be good to me, ha ha ha." The girls thought that he was deliberately joking to avoid the topic of his dream lover, and they were all amused by him. Zhou Yuan was even more unhappy. What did Feng Zhenxuan mean by constantly praising Chu Xiang in front of her? Was he provoking her? Also, everyone knew that Chu Xiang and Chen Lifeng had a falling out. Feng Zhenxuan thought of Chu Xiang in all aspects and was also very capable. Then, didn't the falling out mean that there was a problem with Chen Lifeng? But she couldn't do anything. If she had the slightest intention to go against Chu Xiang, she would definitely attract criticism immediately. The second question that Feng Zhenxuan drew was, "Say something cheesy to the person closest to you." Feng Zhenxuan sighed. I have been busy earning money to support my family all these years. To be honest, other than my niece, the only person closest to me is my agent. It's not appropriate to say cheesy words to my niece, so I can only wrong my agent to listen to mushy words of love. Zhou Yuan said with bad intentions. How is this considered a grievance? Girls will always be happy to hear words of love, right? Fang Zhenxuan shook his head and laughed, as if he had thought of something funny. Then I was joking and wanted to praise her, but after just a few words, she couldn't stand it anymore. I'm so mushy. The girl next to him asked curiously. Quick, what did you praise her for? Fang Zhenxuan looked innocent. Nothing, I just said that she is too beautiful, and should buy more clothes. Otherwise, how can those clothes show their beauty? Oh, you are too good. Quick, say something cheesy to the camera. Haha. Will you be beaten when you go back? No, after all. She likes to look at my face and is very tolerant of me. Fang Zhenxuan made a joke and made an exaggerated affectionate expression to the camera. Chu Xiang, what is your zodiac sign? The girl next to him asked. What is her zodiac sign? Rabbit? Dragon? Fang Zhenxuan shook his head. No, she belongs to me. He pointed to the camera and said seriously, I saw on the internet that someone wants to steal my agent. Chu Xiang, remember, you are my agent. You are not allowed to look at other handsome guys or beauties. Everyone laughed again. Fang Zhenxuan lost several times in the game, but every time he perfectly avoided the trap of the question and shifted the focus to other places. After the game ended, everyone recalled that he actually had a reason to praise Chu Xiang every time. Then he would make everyone laugh and create a relaxed and happy atmosphere. This allowed the undercurrent of the game to be perfectly hidden in the dark. The director breathed a sigh of relief and was very satisfied that they did not have any embarrassing scenes. In this way, the post-editing would be much easier, and the happy scenes would make the show better. Zhou Yuan did not make a comeback. In the end, she was afraid and did not dare to answer any more questions. She found an excuse to stop playing, and everyone packed up and went to rest. As soon as the recording stopped, Fang Zhenxuan immediately found Chu Xiang and looked at her a little nervously. How was it? Was my performance okay? Sister Qing, who was next to him, thought that he was asking about the variety show, so she praised him. Very good. Your sister Chu Xiang just discussed with me about letting you participate in the finale episode. Perform well tomorrow. If there is no problem, you can come over. Fang Zhenxuan smiled and said, Thank you in advance, Sister Qing. I will perform well. Okay, you guys can talk. I will go back to the hotel first. Sister Qing said goodbye to them and left with her bag. She was still seriously considering letting Fang Zhenxuan participate in the finale episode. Fang Zhenxuan looked at Chu Xiang again and Chu Xiang smiled. What? Are you afraid that I will blame you for mentioning me in the show? Fang Zhenxuan's eyes fluttered. I was praising you. My agent is so good, so I have to let everyone know, right? And he leaned closer and said, Zhou Yuan is making things difficult for me. I have to protect myself. Chu Xiang could not see through him and said in the same voice, Then continue to protect yourself. Your agent is very satisfied with your performance. Fang Zhenxuan immediately smiled and asked her to sit down on the chair on the balcony. He went behind her and massaged her shoulders. You must be tired after filming, right? I will give you a massage to relax. Later, go back to your room and have a good rest. Chu Xiang nodded. By the way, today is the premiere of The Legend of Jing Fei. There are 2 episodes. I just watched it. The response is very good and the ratings are very high. Your character is very popular as soon as you appear. It is your first time shooting a drama. Do you want to watch it? Fang Zhenxuan thought for a moment. It is not interesting for me to watch it alone. When we go back, we will watch it with Xinxin. It is enough to know that the results are good. He paused and said, Last time when we were filming Extreme Mode, we were in a hurry and did not have a good look at Paris. Do you want to stay and play after filming this time? Don't you have to bring gifts for others? I will go shopping with you. Do you have the patience to go shopping? It is very tiring. I can ask Sister Qing to go with me. It is not tiring. You can't carry too many things. I will help you carry them. I can also take a good look at Paris. I can't even go shopping with you in China. Do you want to give me a chance to please you? Okay, think of a place you want to go. After buying the gifts, we will go and play. You have been busy with work. It is time to relax. Then it is settled. Let's go back and rest. We still have to film tomorrow. Okay. Chu Xiang stood up and looked back. She saw that Feng Zhenxuan's eyes were brighter than before and his smile was more beautiful. She could not help but smile. Zhou Yuan saw them from the window on the second floor. Her face was gloomy. She suspected that Chu Xiang and Feng Zhenxuan had an ambiguous relationship, but it was meaningless to expose such a thing without evidence. Feng Zhenxuan was tall and handsome, full of youthful aura. His eyes were fixed on Chu Xiang. She suddenly thought of Chun Lifeng. Chun Lifeng was 30 years old. Although he was handsome, he was not a pretty boy. Compared with Feng Zhenxuan, his calm and mature appearance seemed to be a generation lower. She remembered that Chu Xiang had posted on Weibo that she liked handsome brothers, and was just friends with Chun Lifeng. Now that she looked at Chu Xiang, who had obviously become prettier, her heart felt especially stifled. Beside her was a calm and steady best actor, while beside Chu Xiang was a youthful and energetic wolf dog. Why did she feel like she had lost? She actually felt that Chu Xiang and Feng Zhenxuan were very sweet together. This made her feel even more depressed. She suddenly pulled the curtains. Out of sight, out of mind. Feng Zhenxuan and Chu Xiang separated. He went back to his room and took a quick shower. Then he laid on the bed and browsed Weibo. Everyone was praising him for acting very well. Just as he was about to close his Weibo, he saw a few comments. Ah, the legend of Jing Fei is so good. It's so good. My Zhenxuan Gij is so handsome in it. I can't even read now. Today's revision is ruined. Why didn't you broadcast it later if you can't read it? Ah, the college entrance examination is coming soon. My head is full of xian. Feng Zhenxuan didn't know if they were real or fake. He switched to his main account and chose a reply. Students should study hard and revise hard. Only when you get into your ideal university can you have more time to chase stars. Don't watch the drama first. Look at the revision materials. Fans could see their idol's Weibo status from the chat. When they found that he had replied online, they immediately swarmed in excitedly. When they saw what he had replied, they were all stunned for a moment and then quickly commented. Gij, I have a fear of being dominated by the dean. Gij, are you serious? Don't tell us not to support your new drama and study hard. Haha. Zhenxuan, although I watched the drama, I also reviewed it well. There was just a question that I didn't understand. I almost scratched my head until I was bald. Picture. Feng Zhenxuan happened to see this comment with a picture attached. The fan took a picture of the question and the messy draft paper just to show that she was annoyed by the question. However, when Feng Zhenxuan saw it, he directly took a pen and paper and wrote down the answer to the question, took a picture and replied to her. Ah! My idol solved the question for me. Ah! I must take the high school exam this year. What kind of koi am I? What am I? I don't know how to express my excitement. I want to go downstairs and run 10 laps. Sister, you've been flipped by your brother. You're so lucky. I don't know how to do the question either. Please answer it. Xian, I also want you to solve the question. Please flip, please flip. Feng Zhenxuan didn't expect that there would be so many comments as soon as he refreshed. He hadn't gotten used to his high popularity yet. He quickly took a screenshot and sent it to Chu Xiang. He asked her, I didn't cause any trouble, right? What should I do now? Chu Xiang was a little surprised when she saw it. She thought for a moment and laughed. Some people were born to be popular. Feng Zhenxuan accidentally gave her a good opportunity. What was the use of being a top student? He could only look. He couldn't break through from a distance. But if there was a connection, it would be different. Just like the fan who had been replied to solve the question, she would always remember this. When Feng Zhenxuan debuted, everyone knew that he was a top student in law school. The law students also praised him for his high professional grades. Not long ago, Feng Zhenxuan showed his high IQ in the second episode of Extreme Mode. and became the perfect spy. He also showed his shorthand ability during the publicity with the crew of The Legend of Jing Fei. His title as a top student was stable. Now he could use this title to increase his popularity. Such positive popularity would make it easier for parents to like him, and it would also deepen Lu Rao's favorability. Chu Xiang immediately contacted the company and made arrangements for Fang Zhenxuan to prepare the revision materials and learning experience for the college entrance examination. He would share it with everyone on Weibo later. Fang Zhenxuan understood what she meant. He told the director and went to Chu Xiang's place. Zhou Yuan poured water for a drink and happened to hear him looking for Chu Xiang. When she returned to the room, she couldn't help but say to the other three girls, Fang Zhenxuan went to look for Chu Xiang. You guys, aren't they quite compatible? The three girls were all in the entertainment industry and immediately understood her hint. However, they didn't know how to respond. They only said, Fang Zhenxuan is such a handsome brother. He's compatible with anyone, right? Zhou Yuan muttered in a low voice, I wonder if he'll be back tonight. The three girls looked at each other. It's okay. It won't affect the recording tomorrow. The director will definitely arrange it. This meant that they didn't want to continue gossiping. Zhou Yuan had no choice but to go to sleep. The three girls glanced at her at the same time. Their impression of her was much worse. Fang Zhenxuan was looking for Chu Xiang because Chu Xiang had brought her laptop. He had always liked to save his study materials in his mailbox. Now he just needed to download them to his computer and organize them. Of course, it wasn't that easy to organize them. It took him 3 hours to finish. During these 3 hours, the matter of him solving problems for his fans had been fermenting. Because most of the people who paid attention to it were fans, it wasn't hot enough to make it to the trending searches. However, it spread more and more in the fan circle. Many people heard Fang Zhenxuan telling his fans to stop chasing stars and study hard. He even solved problems for his fans. It was really rare to see an idol who was so good at studying. Even other fans were quite curious and went to Fang Zhenxuan's Weibo to watch. Fang Zhenxuan organized another study experience. He had been asked to share it by his teacher in school. He was very familiar with it and soon finished it. Because he was a law student, these organized materials looked neat and tidy, and the sentences were concise. None of them were nonsense. They were all solid. Chu Xiang roughly looked and gave him a thumbs up. Very good. Your fans have made a profit. Post it. I've made a profit too. Does this count as mutual benefit? How can you think of good ideas for everything you see? Are you thinking about work all the time? Fang Zhenxuan teased her as he posted the links to the study materials and learning experiences on Weibo. Fang Zhenxuan v. I'm recording a show in Paris. I can't solve the problems for you one by one. Here are the learning experiences and learning materials that I think are very good. If you find it useful, download it and have a look. You must study hard. I hope to see your beautiful report cards. The fans really didn't expect to get such a good response from him. They immediately replied to him crazily, like flooding the screen. Even the onlooking fans of other fans joined in the fun and began to reply. I never dreamed that after turning from a junior to a fan, I would actually get the seniors learning materials. Fang Zhenxuan spoils her too much. It's so happy to be his fan. Paris? What time is it in the morning over there? He stayed up all night to organize the materials for us. That's great. Zhenxuan, I love you. As a student, Zhenxuan is a straight A student and the president of the student union. As a star, he is a real power and a positive energy idol. Our idol must not lose. Sisters, let's go. Isn't it just the college entrance examination? This learning experience can be used in all sections. It's all useful. This information is organized well. He is indeed a top student in law school. The learning materials are also useful. There are no repetitive questions. I'm going offline. I'm going to take this set of learning materials to practice in seclusion and bring a beautiful report card to see Xian Xian. Chu Xiang talked to the company on the phone. The company began to promote the popularity. The topic hashtag Fang Zhenxuan teaches fans to learn hashtag quickly rushed to the top 10 trending searches. As the popularity of the topic increased, The ranking continued to rise. This was the first time Chu Xiang let the company's public relations department participate in the promotion of the popularity. She herself was much more relaxed. The popularity of the topic rose faster under the promotion of the company, and the effect was more obvious. She had already finished discussing the VM agreement with President Liang. Although President Liang had not given her an answer, she could see that President Liang would definitely agree. In the next less than 2 years, she and Fang Zhenxuan would bring rich benefits to the company. It would be a waste not to use the company's resources. Interacting more could also improve their relationship. Only after fighting together could they be called comrades, right? The company also liked this kind of thing that was not to solve problems, but to promote the popularity because it was not troublesome to do things. Moreover, Chu Xiang had always been generous. The things they helped to do were all part of their duties. Chu Xiang would order drinks and snacks to send to the company. This kind of care was enough to make them very happy at work. Their impression of Chu Xiang and Fang Zhenxuan was increasing, and they were more meticulous in helping them. Many of the girls who chased stars were students. Some of their families did not like their children to chase stars. Even if some supported them, they would not like stars themselves. If they found out that their children's favorite stars smoked and drank, they would unconsciously have bad luck. But this time, many parents of fans found that their children suddenly studied seriously and were especially active and attentive. It was really like the sun rose from the west. After asking carefully, they found out that it was their children's idols who called them to study and asked them to hand in beautiful report cards. They immediately had good luck with Fang Zhenxuan, especially when they heard that Fang Zhenxuan himself was a top student. His grades in every exam were far ahead. When he entered the entertainment industry, his grades were also outstanding. He did everything well. The parents liked him even more. Who didn't like this kind of child from other families? It was even more pleasing to be able to help their children improve. Therefore, the parents were encouraged by their children to watch The Legend of Jing Fei and Extreme Mode. The ratings of this TV series and variety show inexplicably increased again. Even the ratings of the episode where Fang Zhenxuan promoted The Legend of Jing Fei with the crew also increased. There was also Dezhen chewing gum. The students and fans at home who bought Dezhen chewing gum to support their idols would no longer be banned. Some even developed into the whole family buying it. Which one was not buying? Previously, when Chu Xiang made money, some people said that Chu Xiang was a coy. This made Fang Zhenxuan also have the title of a coy in the industry. Ratings were hard strength. Who didn't like an artist who could help ratings in any show? For a time, there were more people who sent WeChat messages to Chu Xiang to contact her and ask about her schedule. The next day, Zhou Yuan and the others all heard the assistant mention Fang Zhenxuan's hot search. Only then did they know why Fang Zhenxuan went to Chu Xiang's place in the middle of the night. The 3 girls sneered in their hearts when they thought of Zhou Yuan's hidden meaning behind others' backs. Other people's minds were full of work. On the road to fame, they added a beautiful color. What was Zhou Yuan's mind full of? No wonder she couldn't beat others. Even if Fang Zhenxuan only slept for 2 hours, he was still in high spirits when he came out to record. It was good to be young. There were no traces of him staying up late at night. This time, he still completed the entire recording with full energy and had a great time with the 4 girls. Or to be exact, the 3 girls were happy. Zhou Yuan was just forcing a smile. However, no one cared about Zhou Yuan. As soon as the recording was over, Fang Zhenxuan couldn't wait to say goodbye to everyone and went to the hotel they booked with Chu Xiang. There was still time in the evening. They could go to eat a French meal. After eating, they could take a walk on the street and see the night view. No one abroad knew them. They could walk on the street openly and relax. Chu Xiang had been an international superstar. At that time, she could be recognized in any city in the world. However, she didn't feel troubled. When she was a demon cultivator, the entire cultivation world knew her. It was just that no one dared to approach her at that time. She looked at the relaxed Fang Zhenxuan next to her and asked, "Have you ever thought that if you become famous internationally in the future, people abroad will also recognize you?" Fang Zhenxuan was stunned. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. No, I just debuted. Moreover, being a star wasn't my dream. Why would I think about this? He looked at the passers-by walking around and thought for a moment. Actually, it doesn't matter. I don't have any problems with others recognizing me. I won't deliberately look for the feeling of being an ordinary person. You have to give up whatever you choose. You have to lose whatever you get. This is very normal. If you insist on conflicting sides, you will only find trouble for yourself. I think I should hope to achieve great things. Because when I enter this industry, I want to do my best. Chu Xiang glanced at him. Is this the desire of a lawyer to win? Can't lose no matter what you do. Fang Zhenxuan shrugged. Maybe. I really don't like to lose. But if I lose, then I lose. I will sum up my experience and win next time. No lawyer will never lose. Sometimes losing is not necessarily a bad thing. Just like there are many things in the world that can't be solved by law, then winning or losing a lawsuit sometimes doesn't have that much significance. Chu Xiang's heart skipped a beat. She turned to look at his expression. You have encountered something that can't be solved by law? Your sister's matter? Fang Zhenxuan stopped and turned around. He lowered his head to look at her and smiled gently. Why are you always so smart? Don't worry. It's never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. I've already waited for a few years. I don't have to worry about waiting a little longer. As for us, let's become popular now. When we have the capital, we can think about those unhappy things, okay? Okay. Then you and I will talk about the case, you know. I think being a lawyer is quite interesting. Chu Xiang naturally changed the topic and continued to walk with him. Since he didn't want to do it for the time being, she would solve it when he wanted to in the future. Anyway, she wouldn't let him suffer. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.